We are live on another exciting edition of Talking Mopars Friday Night Live. Tonight, I've got some friends joining me. Bud Kleppe is the first one joining us. We should have some more people showing up here in a little bit, which is fine because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Bud and I did not plan the lighting situation. At least I didn't, but it works. We're here tonight to talk about the recent announcements from Dodge during Speed Week. They announced a bunch of stuff. A lot of controversy has been surrounding all the announcements, and we're going to talk about it. This is going to be uncensored, unfiltered. We're going to pull no punches. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're just going to keep it real. You know, we're Mopar enthusiasts. That's what we do. And I know that so many people, all Mopar enthusiasts around the world, are either excited, pissed off, or some combination of the two. I'm kind of a combination. I don't know about you, Bud.
Live. Sorry, Chris. I was doing a Instagram live to try to get people over here on that side. So
Oh,
I
nice.
muted myself to
Oh,
try to
no
throw
worries.
people over here.
You keep doing that. While Bud
Yeah,
is
we'll
doing
wait.
that, I'm gonna go ahead. I really want to give everybody that comes on the chat tonight a chance to talk, and Lord knows I love to talk. So I'm gonna go ahead. I took some notes because I wanted to get through my thoughts, and then since Bud's the only one here right now, we can talk to him and get his thoughts because I know he's got a lot to contribute to this conversation. So my main my main focus tonight, and hi guys in the chat, thanks for joining us. My main focus tonight is on the Charger Daytona SRT Banshee. Um, so my first impression, it wasn't exactly what I expected or what I wanted. But if I was to give a rating to the car overall, I'd give it an 8 out of 10 based on an electric muscle car from Dodge and what I would have expected. So, some good things. You know, finally we have a two-door Charger. It's what we've always wanted. I know a lot of people were pissed when the four-door came out, but one thing that some people just don't seem to understand is that who knows, if we had had a two-door Charger in the beginning, we may not have had a two-door Challenger, and there may not have been enough room in the lineup for that car, and it may not have made sense. Um, so as far as, you know, the two-door thing, I'm happy they finally did it. So it's like Dodge listens to a little bit of what the enthusiasts say, and eventually they'll make it happen. Kind of like the convertible. They announced a partnership with a company down in Florida. I can't remember the name of the company. You remember the name of the company, Bud?
Drop Top Customs or something.
Yeah,
Is that
something
it?
like that. They finally are giving you an aftermarket option through the dealership, I believe, to have a convertible Challenger. So how many years did that take? You know what I mean? So
Right.
they do listen to a point, but I'm definitely happy that they finally came out with a two-door Charger. Uh, I was hoping personally for more of uh, a 68 to 70 Charger look and body. What I feel like when I look at that car, when I look at the Banshee, I see such strong cues from the first generation Charger, which really isn't a bad thing. I was looking at that roof line, and just based on the fact that it's a lift back, and you know, if it had a deck lid, it would be so short. That's another styling thing that I don't really like about the car. I wish the roof line was a little bit more 68 to 70 esque, and that the deck lid was a little bit longer because I feel like it's a little stubby in the back. The front, I think they did a great job on it. Um, I do like the 4 bucket seat. So this is another styling cue from the first generation Chargers, the 4 bucket seats with the seats in the back that fold down. I thought that was cool. I'm just not a big fan of the lift back thing. That's just me, but I see where they're going. I think they're leaning into the utility thing a little bit too much for me. But
Yeah.
you know, they're the ones that sell the cars. I'm
Yeah.
not. So
As a Magnum owner, I love the lift gate idea, lift back.
yeah,
As
do
a
you?
that it's well, utility. It makes the car such a dual purpose car.
It
It
does.
gives you so many options of storage and haul and stuff and all that jazz. I mean, it helps tremendously.
It definitely does, and I understand that aspect. But when I was looking at the styling of it, I was like, God, I wish it had I wish it actually had
Yeah.
a deck lid. And if you look at the roof line, you can tell that that they were almost at they wanted to make a four door without making a four door. You know, they wanted to make a
Right.
very large two door. So with the styling, I was like, okay, so they had to make some sacrifices. And so I understand why they did it. I just, it could be a lift back. I don't mind that. I just wish that the deck was a little bit, I don't know. I wish it was a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But that's just me being super picky. Um, I think the front grill is cool. I also, at first, I wasn't sure what to think about that front spoiler, but the more I looked at it, I was like, that's kind of a cool feature. I think
The
that's
R
pretty
wing.
cool. Yeah, yeah. I think it's pretty cool. Um, as far as styling, I think they did a pretty good job on the front end. I know a lot of people are complaining about the hood, but I mean, I didn't find a need to complain that much. And we have to remember this is a concept car. Who knows how much is going to change? Um,
Yeah.
the exhaust. This has been a topic of discussion lately. Um,
Yeah.
I I had said that I would be pissed if they came out with a fake artificial exhaust. And from what I've read, it's actually technically functional in the sense that it it is actual noise that the propulsion system on this car produces. It's just amplified. If that's the
Yeah.
case and it's not 100% artificial, okay. Um,
I give him
I
50% credit then for that because I still don't like it. I think it's weird.
it's
I
definitely
mean,
weird. It's
yeah.
100% weird. If someone were to ask me, well, would you rather have it be quiet? Uh, gosh.
I mean, yeah. It's hard pressed, but this is like the transition from horse to car, right?
Yeah.
This would be like the first car it drops horse shit as you're driving down the street.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
100%.
what?
Yeah.
Like,
Um,
it doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? But
and credit to Dodge. I know what I know what they were trying to do. They said if we're going to go into EV, we have to think of a lot of the things that we would get knocked on. And I know that they had to have seen everybody saying, "Oh, there's no sound. You don't get any, you don't get that feel." So they did what they could. The thing will shift,
right,
which is kind of ridiculous for an electric car, but they're trying to make it as cool and muscly as they
right,
can for what it is supposed to be. And for that, I applaud Dodge. They're trying to, take what they would expect an enthusiast to say, and they're trying to create something that will satiate us. I don't think
right.
it's we can sit here and talk shit all day about what we don't like about the car. There's a lot of people that love it. And no knock on them. Everybody's got their own taste. If I had to choose
Yeah,
between that car and a Tesla, the only reason why I would even consider the Tesla is because it's so fast, the Plaid.
right,
And from what I understand, but we can get a little bit into this later. Um, they benchmarked this car against a Hellcat. Now, I would expect you to be faster than a Hellcat with this muscle car, especially if you're going
yeah,
EV. It better be faster than a Hellcat. We shouldn't even have to talk about that. What they need to talk about
right.
is how they're going to beat a Tesla Plaid. Because if I go out, you know, their branding and marketing is, performance made us do it. And
Right.
Elon's over there going, "Oh yeah, show me what you got." You know what I mean?
Right.
They're
Right. Yeah. I think there's two things on that. One, they talked about was Hellcat.
mm,
It was interesting they didn't say it was faster or quicker than a Demon. I think the Demon
yeah,
is they're still like, no, that's a special car. We don't compare anything against that. Nothing, we're not going to judge numbers against that because we don't want to have this new car be faster than the Demon, which the Demon was supposed to be the mythical top beast or whatever.
yeah,
Um, but it's a Dodge press conference at Woodward,
mm,
which is a union city with union jobs. They're not going to bring up Tesla, which is
yeah,
non-union,
sure,
non-Detroit, out of the system car to compare it against. And if faster than the Mustang Mach-E, well, it better fucking be.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, for sure.
so as I think about it more, even though they compared it and said they were benchmarking against the Hellcat, it made sense why they wouldn't bring up Tesla or Lucid because that's not if you're going out and shopping for a Tesla, you're probably not shopping the Dodge
100%.
whatever
Yeah,
because you're buying this car with Bitcoin you sold, right? I mean, that's the it's a different demographic. So I kind of get it. It did worry me at first. I was like, man, oh man, if they're it, it, why are they not talking about the fastest electric car? Why
Yeah.
are they
Yeah.
comparing this against a Hellcat? But then it's like, oh, everyone at this press conference is into Dodges.
Yeah. 100%.
Right. So he's speaking to the audience basically. So I'm that one I'm kind of I give him a little bit of a pass on because
I would have
I kind
never
of get it now.
expected. I would have never expected them to say Tesla, but I probably the hairs on the back of my neck probably would have stood up if they would have went up there and said, there's some electric vehicles out there that are very, very fast, and Dodge didn't want to be second place. So we came
Right.
in and did what we do best. And now we are the kings of electric vehicles.
Right.
That would have been a hell of an entrance. And I would have been like, oh shit, they did it. They built the fastest, but we have to understand, Elon isn't going to go down without a fight.
That's what I was thinking too. It's like if he mentions Elon, that's like full court press of Elon
Oh,
to go, I'm going to put the Falcon 9 rockets on the back of the next Tesla, and you won't be nearly as fast.
Yeah, the Twitter war would have been amazing, but
oh god, it would be great.
I hope they're talking about direct connection, 9 levels of performance or whatever. I really wish we had more of an idea of what they're talking about. I wish we had more of an idea.
They missed a great window there with 9 levels. They should have just made it 11 windows. 11 levels, because you got to turn it up to 11. That would have just
Yeah.
Now that's something that Elon would have done. He would have made that little joke during that deal. But
yeah,
we got
Tommy Marauder in the house. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on, guys?
So another thing that I know it was already talked about in the chat a little bit. Speaking of which, hey everybody, thanks for joining us. We will open the chat later on this evening to anybody that wants to jump on and give their 2 cents. I want everybody to know that this is an open platform, and unfiltered and uncensored. So if you got some shit to talk, by all means. But one thing that was mentioned in the chat that I thought was funny and that I agree with is that where's that noise coming from? What happened there? Is the wheels. I think the wheels are absolutely hideous. And some people love them. Some people like me just are not impressed with the wheels at all. But my plea to Dodge is that, please let us have the Hemi crates. If anything, I don't want them to kill the Hemi completely. I don't think they will. But if they were to kill off the crate option for Hemis, I would be devastated because I think that will still keep the enthusiast spirits up if they keep them around. But as far as everything else, that's pretty much my piece on the Charger Daytona SRT Banshee, which just happens to be the longest fucking name of a car I've ever heard in my life.
No. You got it? No. The 2020 Dodge Charger SRT Daytona wide body 50th anniversary edition.
Okay. Second place.
That said that on the sticker.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be that gold one, does it?
No, that was the blue and the blue one. I actually made a fake window sticker when I went to a Dodge event and slapped it on the car, and the name went past the side of the window sticker.
Oh, that's funny. My thoughts on everything else. The Hornet, there's not much left to say about that. It's an Alfa Romeo Tonale or whatever the fuck they're called.
Yeah.
With a Dodge mask on it. So, for me, I could sit here and talk shit about the car, but I'd just be hating on it. It's not in a segment that I'm interested in. I don't give a shit about crossovers. As far as I'm concerned, I thought the Durango was just fine. But, crossover is a different segment, and I get it. Dodge is a business. I keep seeing people that are somewhat in defense of Dodge. They keep saying and talking shit to people about not knowing how the auto industry works and shit. I get it. They're out to sell cars, and that's a segment that they can capitalize on. But what's funny, and I know, Bud, you've been seeing these articles, that there's some disturbances within the FCA headquarters between Alfa Romeo and Dodge. Those articles are funny. If you guys get a chance, look up some of those articles about how not happy with Dodge Alfa Romeo is, because they kind of took the steam away from their crossover. But so the Hornet, they're trying, and if it's going to be the baddest crossover, more power to Dodge. Not my thing.
The logo is pretty cool.
I will say, shit, man, you get So they're trying to win us over with the little badge, which, hey, it is pretty damn cool.
They know
I'll
their
give them that.
audience, though. I mean,
They do.
Hey, custom badges sells cars. I mean,
It does.
clearly it's what it does.
It
I mean,
does.
Tommy wouldn't have bought his car if it didn't have that cool beat with the racing helmet on it. I mean,
That was it for me. That was it.
And call it the 1320. I mean, as a drag racer, what more would you want? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Right.
You know, the other thing was the drag pack. I think that's awesome. I think it's out of a lot of people's wheelhouses, but you know, putting myself in a drag racer's shoes, I think it's awesome that they're offering that. What's even more awesome, in my opinion, is the $8,000 body in white. Now, my big question about that is, are these directed towards the racers, or is this a car that you could possibly build from the ground up and have a VIN attached to it that you can drive on the street? I think it's directed towards the race cars.
The body in white should not have a VIN, and this isn't. That's not necessarily a new thing. They've had them. They've been
Have they?
around.
Right.
I thought it was just the drag pack thing.
No.
Really?
You had to know people to get the body in white.
Right. It was available, as was the drag pack. Over the years, in many forms, you could buy them less engine and transmission, with engine and transmission, and those were the earlier, the 6.1 versions and whatnot. But the body in white, I think they did drop the price though.
I thought I heard him say under $8,000.
Under $8,000. It's like $79.95 or something like that. So
it's. I want to see how many of those actually sell for that money.
I'm in line.
To build a drag car from the ground up, I think it's pretty damn cool. I wasn't expecting them to have VINs and be streetable. I always thought that the bodies in white, because I knew they existed, but I always thought it was like a factory sponsored drag racing program. I didn't realize you could just go off the street and just order one.
Well, that's what I kind of mean. You kind of had to know the right people and be in the right circles to get the bodies in white. You had to, be in that racing circle and be somewhat known. It's nobody coming into the dealership trying to say, I want to buy a body in white. You're barking up the wrong tree. But I think the body in white's more for not necessarily building a car from the ground up, but it's to fix the car that you rolled or put into the wall hard. I think it's more to fix the car that you busted up bad racing than it is necessarily to build a new one.
Interesting.
My idea is exactly that, is the body in white, and over the course of the next few years, once other projects are finished, is a wrecked 1320.
Yeah.
To put it into that shell that has no other added weight.
Yeah.
Just to see what it would do.
Yeah. That'd be pretty wild. Wild.
I love that idea. That's cool.
Don't steal it. That's my idea.
Hey, I don't got that kind of money. That's your game, buddy.
That's a long term, because I'm working. I got that truck coming up too that we're working on. So.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I can't wait for that one to piss people off.
That's gonna piss a lot of people. I love it.
Picking it up. We're actually picking it up tomorrow morning.
No shit.
All right.
Yeah. One of my guys at the shop needs a transmission for his daily, which I have in that truck. So we're gonna jump in and start ripping everything out. And,
that was an OBS, right? An old body style.
It's a new body style.
It's a new body style. Okay. So
Tommy, for people listening, you should probably tell them what that truck project is.
Yeah, tell them what the truck project is.
It's a 2002 GMC that I've owned since I first joined the Army. Bought it new, drove it up until 2017. It's got, I don't know, 1.5 million miles on it. Honestly, the best vehicle that I've owned long term. It still runs a factory serpentine belt. The 4.8 liter still starts on the first crank. Great truck. So it got parked in 2017 with plans to do something. So I have a Demon long block. So what we're going to do is transplant a Demon long block in there with a big turbo 400 trans, full cage, and just go to town with it. Now the cool part is on the Chevy side, it's going to piss people off because it's a one of like 2000 and some built of the second year Regency sport trucks.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I'm sorry. It's an 02. I think that was the first year. So it's the Regency sport truck package. And then they transitioned later into the RST as Regency closed down. So fairly rare for what it is. Those trucks are actually going for pretty good money right now. But it's a very sentimental vehicle to me. longest vehicle I've ever owned. My daughter, before she passed, absolutely adored the truck. So when I parked it in 17, just before she passed, it was, I didn't know what I was going to do with it, and as parts have come along and the idea, and the 1320 is kind of getting to where we want it. I'm going to do something different in the old school tradition of hot rodding. It's
Hell yeah.
Work with what you got on hand. So
the opposite of an LS swap, and I'm on board 100%. I love the idea of that. I just have a few more quick things to say, and then I'm going to turn it over to you guys, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this whole thing. The return of the popular colors, the high impact ones in particular, I think that's awesome. The convertible Challenger, it's about time they figured out a way to make that happen. Bringing back the Hellcat Durango, I don't know why it ever went away. Those are amazing. And then lastly, my favorite part of all week long was the carbon fiber bodies for the 70 Charger. They announced the Roadrunner, which I'm assuming is a 70, and the 70 CUDA. And I did think it was funny because during the press conference, Kaniskis mentioned when he revealed the car that they went totally 5150. And what was funny about that is my friends over at Mopar's 5150, when they had the sell-off in Georgia, it was a pretty cool moment because the rumor floating around was that Speedcore was there, and there they were with their trailer, and they bought those cars. So those cars are what they were using, well, what I can assume that they used to build these carbon fiber cars. So I thought that was pretty cool. It did kind of, it's like they censored him out. He said, we went totally 5150, and I'm sure he cussed. I think that's what happened. But when he said 5150, I was like, huh, and Speedcore, I was like, there's a correlation there. So I think it was a subtle shout out to my friends over at Mopar's 5150. So shout out to those guys. Hell of a lot of project cars in Georgia. So Speedcore had a nice amount of cars to pick from. And they picked some pretty decent ones. The Roadrunner they picked, I was looking at, and I was saying, damn, this would be a great Superbird clone, which I don't know. I feel like a carbon fiber Superbird is on the way too. I don't know for sure, but I would imagine they're going to go that route too.
Be pretty cool.
I heard they're pretty affordable too. only 200,000.
Yeah,
is what I
depends
heard.
on who you are.
I was going to say, did you? So they're going to release. I guess Speedcore already has, but they do the accents for the modern Challengers and Chargers. Mm-hmm. Your front splitter, your side skirts, your rear diffuser, and I absolutely that's my biggest gripe about the modern Challenger. I hate the plastic on the sides. So carbon fiber is more sturdy. So I happened to pop on their website the other day and check out the prices. I mean, you're talking like 11 grand to put those three pieces on a modern Challenger.
Yeah, it's one thing I can say is that these are licensed products and they are going to be of the highest quality, but you are going to pay for that high quality. And when you're talking about how much it costs to build them a car, or get them to build you a car, you're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So for a carbon fiber body, I'm sure it's going to be well into the six figures. So out of my price range, but cool nonetheless.
Yeah, the roof for the carbon fiber.
Hold on, Bud, you're breaking up, dude. What happened?
Can you hear me any better now?
A little bit. I think that. Hold on a second, Bud. Oh, that's weird. It's a little choppy. That's weird.
Strange. Anyway, $200,000 is the number.
200,000. Yeah, that's
the number I heard. Accurate, but that's 200,000 for those. But you also understand what they have to do in order to get those, how to make them, the autoclave to fit a whole car to bake those giant pieces.
Oh yeah,
not cheap.
I heard
cheap equipment.
I heard through the grapevine that they have some of the most top of the research and development equipment that you can possibly have. Stuff where you can scan the body of, like, I can go buy a shell of a car like they did, scan the whole car, and then through their autoclave build this car. Essentially, the technology that I had heard being talked about was so over and above my head. I was like, oh, no wonder they build the coolest shit. It's crazy.
Right.
But do me a favor, sign out and
Yeah.
then sign back in. Something's going on with your
All
audio.
right.
I don't know. Tommy, while Bud's away, I really want to give you a platform to talk about your charitable organization, Slicks of Hope.
Right.
So here's your platform, buddy. Tell the audience about Slicks of Hope.
Okay, so for those not familiar, I run a small charity raising money for pediatric cancer research through St. Baldrick's, a group that I've fundraised with or for since 2016 with my daughter prior to her passing. After I lost her in 17, I've continued. And in 18, we opened our own fund under them called Slicks of Hope, in which we campaign our 1320, my wife Carly and I. And now with full custody, actually, she just went to bed, my eldest daughter, Brooklyn, to raise money for pediatric cancer research. We will be doing our third annual and our second so far with Holly Mopar. Holly's been a big sponsor of ours. Great people over there. They've just been a huge help, along with Mr. Norms and Larry Weiner over there at Mr. Norms. I'm trying to think who else. Gosh, we got JMS on board now. Testing a product for them. I got the guys at the shop. So I currently manage American Muscle Performance in Pompano Beach, Florida, for all your Mopar muscle needs. If you're a GM guy, we can help you out too. So got some strong talent there with my guys Jeremy and Brandon, and then unfortunately our GM tech Frankie. But they are Brandon's actually prepping the car this weekend, so getting everything dialed in. We'll do the event. I want to say Moparty's the 16th, 17th.
Yeah, it's over my anniversary and my daughter's birthday, so.
Yeah, it's that weekend.
Yep. So 16th, 17th, and 18th, we'll be up at Bowling Green.
Awesome.
We were actually going to do kind of an early kickoff, and initially we were going to be in Detroit today, but Carly, that's why Carly's not joining me right now. She's actually already in bed. We're going through in vitro right now.
Oh,
so
okay.
she's feeling like garbage right now and just super tired and beat up. So they bumped all our appointments up to this week instead of next week. So we skipped Detroit. So Moparty's going to be a big deal. We're going to, if everything goes according to plan, we'll be kicking off a little something new with the car that hasn't been seen yet.
Nice.
Just depends on if everything comes in, and you know how that goes. But we're going to turn the wick up on it a little bit, talk some shit, and set up some grudge races.
Hell yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's it in a nutshell, man. We, we sell T-shirts. We take open donations. We're working on getting more companies involved so that when we do Moparty in the future and other large events, that I can have things to raffle off.
Awesome.
Whether it's T-shirts, crate engines, you name it. So it's slow going, but we've been very very steady since our inception. So it's a labor of love.
Yeah.
It's something that we all enjoy together. Carly's very involved with, the car and making it more noticeable than I do. And, the funny story is, we took it out for our first event with Marauder Street Hemi Shootout in 2019, set the stock 6.4 records, one apiece. I took the ET record. She took the trap speed. And then within, a little bit of time, the YouTube videos, and then it's not, he set that, she set that. Then it's all that hot chick with the blue 1320 set those records. So, it works. She knows how to handle the car better than I do. I mean, she's just been from the get-go very much a natural. That
That's
trip,
awesome.
she'd never drag raced a car before.
Wow.
That was her that trap speed record was her 6th ever solo pass.
Wow.
You
That's
know,
awesome.
so
She's a natural.
Yes.
yeah. So I mean, she's cut like some 00 lights and
Jesus.
you know, run some cars that should have edged us out, but you know, she got them at the tree. So
There's something there because there's a lot of bad females out there that can drive the hell out of those cars.
yeah.
It's really impressive, and she can definitely drive the hell out of that 1320. I am so excited to see that car run at Mo Party because when I was at Mo Party last year, I was so disappointed that my live streams weren't working. I was depressed, and then I realized when it was all over, I was like, I barely spent any time at the track watching the races because there was so much going on.
Well,
That
last year
this
I couldn't make a clean pass.
God,
You
what
know,
happened
so
last year?
I was out of another shop at the time,
Oh,
and we had done the torque converter, and it took them a month post Mo Party to figure it out. But I suspect dirty fluid was used when they put it back in,
oh my God.
and the filter was all clogged up, so it would build pressure and shift 1-2, but then it couldn't do 2-3, and it would just fall on its face and go in a limbo.
Oh shit.
So, but like I said, made the move over to American Muscle, and then picked up working for Scott there. Those boys knocked that car out in 3 days, reran the entire nitrous setup. Yeah, that was just prior to Modern Street Hemi Shootout season opener in March. So they knocked the entire nitrous system, had to be completely ripped out and rewired. Didn't even put the original kit back in. Holly sent me another one, and we put a whole new one in because it was just so improperly done.
Wow.
And so Brandon and Jeremy knocked that all out, tuned it, and went to the shootout on a base tune, and it ran 10-0s consistently all weekend.
Wow.
Without issue.
Wow. Are you going to get some test time before Mo Party?
I mean, you know, if I find the
Try.
time, hopefully.
Yeah,
hopefully.
sure.
Sure. So we're hoping maybe next weekend we can get it out and get a little bit, because I have some more done some more tuning on it. The tuners tuned it up or turned it up a little bit. So we're hoping to see some 980, 990 time slips maybe.
Fun.
You know.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that car run at Mo Party. That'll be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll get an interview with Carly. Yeah, we've missed out on her a couple times, so we'll get her at Mo Party. Watch her run the car and hopefully that'll be a lot of fun. Let's get back into this this recap of Speed Week. But why don't you kick things off? And what's your overall thoughts, or what are your overall thoughts over Speed Week and the reveals and stuff that have been happening? Is Bud frozen? I think Bud's frozen.
Bud's frozen.
Either he's frozen or really bored. Bud, we're going to remove you from the chat. You are frozen on screen right now. I'm going to remove you. Jump back in, all right? Moving on to Tommy. Tommy, what do you think about all this?
It's strange.
Yeah.
You know, the Hornet was mentioned earlier, and I've seen a lot of chatter on the Facebook groups about it, and
Sure.
What I think people just don't understand is, you know, they see Dodge doing something a little sportier, whereas maybe they didn't realize Dodge had the Journey, you know, or the minivans, and what they're trying to do is bring that other segment in. What's up, Blake?
How's it going?
What's up, Blake?
They're trying to pull that segment in and take something that is typically very vanilla, you know, sauce it up a little bit, and you know, they have to sell. I think I said it to you the other day. They got to sell that vanilla, in large amounts to fund the low volume fun stuff.
No, and you were 100% right. As an enthusiast myself, I just kind of sat there and go, what the hell are you doing? But of course, when you think of the business end of the things, it only makes sense. But are you back? You're not frozen anymore. I think we got
I
you.
think so. I switched from a wireless connection to wired, and I thought that'd be better, and apparently not. So
Oh, weird.
going back off wireless again.
All right, sounds good.
Howdy, Blake. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So Tommy, not against the Hornet. You understand why they brought it?
Totally. I mean, and they've done it. You know, I remember if I told this story before, but like my introduction to cars involved an Omni GLHS,
Hell
you
yeah.
know, and a '66 Plymouth Belvedere. So the old man across the street, when I grew up on the east side of Detroit, his everyday car was a GLHS.
Okay.
And then his Sunday car was this '66 Hemi Belvedere. And as a young child, it scared the hell out of me, because when he would start it, the windows in the house would shake and everything else. But the GLHS was the same thing. It was a mundane car that they turned up, you know, to attract the enthusiast into something that was typically very vanilla. And, you know, they wanted to sell a bunch of them to fund the fun stuff, which back then they didn't have as much of.
Yeah, that was tough.
It makes sense.
Yeah. What about feel about the SRT Banshee? You feel about this EV muscle car?
You're gonna give Tommy an aneurysm.
Let's start with things that you like about it.
Well, I heard you say you didn't like the wheels. I thought they were kind of cool.
Okay, no, see, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. If you like those pieces of shit, that's you.
I liked them. I thought they were different. They were different.
Yeah,
yes,
you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like the shape. It's a good looking car. I don't mind the availability of electric vehicles.
Okay.
It's the forcefulness that I don't enjoy. I'm very much about freedoms.
And this is where I want to say, we'll jump in with something real quick. And I've had a lot of time to think about this now, and I've rewatched all 3 days of the Speed Week announcements. Tim said on day one that the 2023 model year will be the last of the L model Hemi cars.
So just the L platforms are going away.
Hemi cars.
Oh, okay. I see
last of the Hemi cars. So
okay.
I have a feeling that the i6 Hurricane is going to end up in the current models for 2024 and maybe beyond, while they try to get adoption into the electric car. The electric car will end up being, you know, high end, you know, Hellcat Red Eye Demon, you know, super sport pricing range. And then they'll have the i6 twin turbo engines in that platform running out for a few years. That's how when I reread that statement, that's how I read that. I mean, you can't expect everyone to jump from Charger and Challenger, 4 doors and 2 doors, to jump into a fully electric 2-door car. It's just not realistic.
No.
Now I've seen some stuff where it's theorized that the whole lineup is not going to go electric, that there will be like a 50% break of electric and then gas.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's any way with that Banshee car that you could make that a gas car. That's built on their large platform skateboard. There's just no way that shape, that car with all those features in it, the R-Wing, the whatever else you want to put into it, there's no way that could be powered by anything other than the 800 volts of pure American muscle.
What about that exhaust?
What do you think about that, Tommy? How do you feel about the exhaust?
I get where they're coming from.
Yeah.
You know, because the Teslas, it's weird. And I'll jump on that for a second. Like, I don't hate Teslas. They're not good looking cars in my eyes. They do perform, but for me, it's the community that surrounds them. That is what turns me off is the Tesla folks.
Yeah. And it's funny too, like the Tesla, you know, people give Dodge so much shit about the Charger and Challenger. Well, they haven't updated those things in so many years. I mean, Tesla Model S looks the same as it did when it first came out.
100%.
I mean,
And
how
guess
long's
what?
that been out now?
And everybody's still
God.
buying both of them.
Yeah. I mean,
How
I get you.
boring.
The Tesla is definitely jelly bean, though. I mean, man, that car is just, I don't know.
How boring are those cars? Just for as fast as they are, I'm like, God, they're so boring. You know, I've been waiting for this Roadster. Not that I really give a shit about it, but
The
man,
one with the turbo boosters, the rocket boosters.
I do want to say one thing about this Hurricane. Is it a V6 or inline six? It's a V6, right?
Inline six.
Inline six.
A buzzing half dozen.
That's kind of cool. My only thing about that is, you know, you get all these enthusiasts, you know, hyped up on the way a Hemi V8 sounds, and then you go and you tell us, okay, we're going to give you a Hurricane inline six turbocharged. I hope it does not sound like these EcoBoost Fords, because they sound so stupid. My buddy's got a F-150 EcoBoost, and I think he's got Flowmaster Super 10s on it. There's a point where this thing sounds so stupid, I can't even stand it. I'm like, man, there's just something about, I hope it sounds good. It's not going to be a Hemi. It's not going to have that rumble, but I hope they do what they can. It's going to be a tough sell, I think. It's supposed to be powerful, though, from what I understand, which is cool.
Well, if you remember back, they used to do the 225 slant six.
Yeah. Those things sounded good.
Tons of dudes raced them, too.
Yeah, for sure.
The inline six is, I think it's actually going to, you know, talking about how cars sound, the inline six will sound good.
I hope so.
It'll sound good. It's half a V12, right? I mean, it's got to sound good.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I'm just disappointed that, because we're not going to get another restyling. We're not going to get one more restyling of the Charger and Challenger, are we? They're discontinuing these, and that's it, right? Is that what I'm understanding?
Like I said, rereading that statement from Speed Week 1 makes me think that current generation, the current platform, they're going to stretch that out.
Yeah.
They'll throw the Hurricanes in there, continue that. How on earth could you sell just the Banshee? I mean, I know the Challenger is the #1 muscle car because the Charger's not involved in those numbers because it's a 4-door car currently. It's a sedan, not a muscle car. But there's just no way that they can continue to just do the Banshee and it completely ignore the 4-door market. It just can't. So I'm finally just seeing all the comments pull up in here now. So apparently I have to buy a new microphone. Apparently, what I'm hearing.
I'm behind. So while you guys are talking, I'm just going through making sure everybody knows I'm showing them some love. We got BigBlock in the house too. Let's bring him in. Matt, what's up, brother?
What's going on, guys?
All right, Tommy, let's hear some more of your opinions on this. So you like the way the car's designed?
I think it's a good looking car.
Yeah, no, I agree.
No bones about that. I mean, it's got that retro thing that they've been doing. And like I said, I'm okay with the availability of electric vehicles. I just don't like the meddling of the feds in everything we do. You know, and the fact that it's kind of being forced.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I read this recently too. So Dodge FCA, Stellantis, whatever you want to call it, in 2019 through 2021 paid $2.4 billion to buy carbon credits because they were below the numbers of where they needed to be for both European and U.S. market. That's not sustainable.
No, no, hell no.
I mean, that's not sustainable.
The government has no more money to bail anybody out.
No.
You know what I want to know, though, is everybody's upset about this electric thing. Why are they not upset about the chopping of the roof? A convertible Challenger?
I wasn't a fan.
I as a boulevard cruiser or, you're back, just go into cars and coffee shit. I see the appeal in the car. I totally get it.
You're not 65 yet, man.
I feel like it some days. I wake up some mornings and I'm like, man, I'm old. But I totally, well, you look at your Tommy, you've got a Challenger. You're the young man in that Challenger game.
Wow.
The Challenger definitely skews a little bit on the older side. And I totally get it. With the anyone that's going to go race the car, drive it hard, that convertible is the absolute wrong way to go. Absolute wrong way to go. But I'm actually kind of surprised that Dodge even put their stamp of approval on that to begin with. That kind of surprised me that they would do that, because they're taking a Sawzall to the car, for Christ's sake.
I will say the company that does them does a nice job. I mean, it looks like it came from the factory. They're clean, they're done right, but
you're going to see more of those damn things in Florida than anywhere else.
Well, that's where they all are now. Yeah, we've got like one here in Minnesota, maybe two. I actually saw one yesterday on the road here in Minnesota.
You guys still got snow up there?
Probably tomorrow, not today.
Oh, that's funny. So Tommy, overall, was Speed Week for Dodge a hit or a miss? Your opinion?
I think the only thing that kind of, for me, it saved it is the price on the bodies in white, and seeing that they're still pushing things like the drag pack for $89K. For the guys that have the money, it's a cool starting point. To see that they're still somewhat in the grassroots game. I'd like to see cheaper options. I'd like to see that program. From my understanding, is once the plants close down and stop pressing those bodies, though, that's the end of it. But I'd like to see that stay in.
Yeah.
I never even thought about taking one of those bodies in white and then going to Copart or whatever and finding a wrecked car. That's actually a smart way to go, because that's when you go to Copart and you get one of those wrecked things, unless you have a donor vehicle, that's probably the second biggest expense, is going, okay, now I need to source all the body panels and parts to get it together. So that's your easiest option. You get it all in one shot. Boom, there you go.
Yeah.
So
are the feds listening? If not, you can just VIN swap it onto that one. You're good to go. You're just totally fine.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's kind of like Dynacorn. It's considered in some states it's considered a replacement part. So you can go to your service station, go to your local dealer, buy it with a Mopar part number. So that's how Dynacorn gets away with that in some states. It's not a car, it's a replacement body.
Oh.
Just replacement everything, but
No replacement part.
Shit. All right.
Yeah. So not all states. Some states are a little sharper than that, but yeah, you say, it's got a replacement body. Here's my Mopar part number and my receipt. Thank you very much. I mean,
exactly.
If you could prove that you bought the body legitimately, and you're not, I have a legitimate, I bought this wrecked car from auction, right? This is legitimate. I have the paperwork. Here's a replacement body from the manufacturer that makes these vehicles. It's a little bit less of a strenuous fight, I guess,
Yeah. I don't know. I think Dodge is really trying to do what they can with what they got. So I'll give them that. As much hate as I threw at the Hornet, once the smoke settled a little bit and my anger subsided, if they're going to do it, they might as well do it how Dodge would do it. And I think they're doing the best they can. I think the power shot's funny, though. Seeing a little Hornet hit that extra 25. That's pretty
They're used to playing video games where they can do that, right?
Yeah.
Hitting the power turbo boost button,
Wait, does it actually have a turbo boost button?
Yes.
Now
they call it a power shot. It's like on the RT and GLH or whatever. GLH. I can't keep track of it. But there's a power shot button on it. Same thing with the Banshee. They give you like 15 seconds of extra power, I think is what it is. So yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well.
So
we'll see.
when Asian Cop Jesus is chasing you on the
Asian Cop Jesus
St. Paul, yeah, he's in the comments right now. when he starts getting behind you and trying to chase you through the streets, you can hit your turbo boost button and get away from him.
Yeah. But how do you feel about Speed Week and everything we saw?
Man, it took me through a roller coaster of emotions. So I actually got kind of choked up on Monday when I thought like, man, they're actually killing all this off. I mean, for how much time I've had invested in this platform. When I bought my first Magnum in like 2007, it just, I've raced my kids with these cars. My daughter learned how to drive in the Magnum, like all this stuff, and it's like, this is coming to an end. And it just kind of hit me like, damn. And then you get this kind of like melancholy feeling, and then they hit you with the Hornet, and you're like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, I'm supposed to be excited about this? You just told me you're killing off the Hemi and the Challenger and Charger, and this is the piece of shit you're giving me? I mean, I'm sure it's a fine car. I own a Jeep. I own a 2022 Jeep Compass, which is on the same damn platform. So, like, I probably would have bought a Hornet if it was available when I got the, Compass. But anyway,
sure.
Like, that's not the replacement for a Charger and a Challenger. That is a throwaway consumer commuter car, right? So I felt somewhat redeemed on day 3, but it's still like Tommy was saying, where's the options? But that's why going back and rereading and rewatching how he mentioned it, saying the last of the L-bodied Hemi cars, made me think that body style will go on beyond 2023 just without the Hemis. So that's my prediction.
The L platform is going away, and they're keeping some of the Hemis.
Yeah, with how much they're getting beat over the heads with the emissions and carbon credits and all that bullshit, and especially with the power performance levels, 500 horsepower, 475 torque with the twin turbo Hurricane, that kind of knocks you out of 5.7 territory for sure.
Yeah.
That's technically higher than the 392 in stock form. To me, those two engines are gone. There's just no way you would keep those two around if you have a car that's getting, an engine that's getting 15-20% better fuel efficiency versus, especially when you're getting beat over the head, you got to raise these numbers up. So
I talked about it in the early days of the podcast. I think it was March after I started. And the rumor at that time was that the 5.7 was going bye-bye and this 6-cylinder was going to come out. And the 5.7 stuck around and the 6-cylinder never showed up. So, and that was, 3 years ago or something like that. It's definitely interesting.
Well, the Hurricane shows up now in the Jeep. Like if you go build yourself a Grand Wagoneer on the Jeep website, they actually show the higher horsepower version a step above the 392, and it's a $2,000 option to get it because it has a higher horsepower, higher torque numbers than but it's running like some insane number of boost. I mean, I thought it was like 26 pounds of boost, 28 pounds of boost.
Oh my god!
I can dig it.
Yeah, well, I know that's what's like. So that's the question. You're obviously the engine's built for boost. Then, how much more boost is on the table? Can you turn that wick up before you start blowing shit up?
Oh man. Yeah, and to do that, you're gonna have to void a warranty unless Direct Connection's got something up their sleeve. But
I mean, I would say that 9 out of 10 guys that are actually doing the performance stuff on their cars
don't give a shit.
They're way past warranty.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, they'll try to put it back to stock after they break it and bring it back in. I don't know what happened, but
that's one thing I did like about them announcing the Direct Connection stuff, that it will not void the warranty. I like that, but every factory aftermarket part should be that way. So, I mean, not too big of a surprise there.
How much are you going to actually get with that Direct Connection stuff for, the guys with the Scat Packs and even the Hellcats?
Gosh,
you keep your warranty and you're getting, I hate to say it, watered down can tunes.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're going to be safe tunes. There's no question.
Sure. Well, I mean, even at what we put out, I mean, tunes are safe. Yeah. But, it's just the it's the handheld with the can tune
Yeah.
for an intake and exhaust.
Super
And
conservative.
yeah,
Well, I'm impressed they're doing anything for the 392, being how delicate that fucking engine is. So,
I
it's-
mean, I'm a believer, man.
Yeah.
but yours is built. That's a difference.
I'm on a stock bottom end.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I got.
I think
impressive.
I missed that detail the last time we talked about your car. Holy shit.
Everything below the heads is bone stock, man.
No
Wow.
shit.
Wow.
Well, how much boost are you running?
I'm running a whole handful of spray.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
So, but I mean,
It's
it's
crazy.
I'm running.
I don't know
I'm
why,
running
but I always
enough for
flip
now.
yours and John's car back and forth with my head for some reason, in the performance side stuff.
I need to get John. Me and John, we need to
I
meet
know.
up there halfway because we are. Now, I haven't seen any quarter mile times from him.
Yeah, he's always mile.
He's stuck on the 8th mile out west, but our 8th mile times we're like this back and forth. So he and I have talked pretty extensively about trying to meet up somewhere this season. So, and then Jason, I was supposed to grudge him last year at Mo Party, and both our cars were stuck behind bad tunes and gremlins and everything else. So hopefully this year, his is up and running good. Mine's running good. We should, he and I should be able to meet at Mo Party, and he's a Pro Charge car also.
Yeah.
So Pro Charge versus nitrous, and we'll see what it do.
Jonny Mopar, what's up, buddy?
Well. If it isn't Mr. Mopar.
Sorry. Get your shit together, Johnny. But what are your overall thoughts on the Banshee?
I like it. Like I said, we were talking about off air a little bit. It concerned me a little bit at first that they were benchmarking it and talking about it against the Hellcat. Oh, it'll be faster than the Hellcat. We benchmarked this against the Hellcat. This is the Hellcat. I'm like, in the EV space, Hellcat doesn't mean shit. That's not. It's the Tesla Plaid. That's the Lucid Air Dream Performance. Those are the two that you have to be chasing if you're talking EV performance. Those are the two top dogs. To not mention them at the time kind of freaked me out a little bit. I'm like, if you guys, come out here and we're supposed to be Dodge, supposed to be this badass, super performance made us do it, and it's slower than Plaid. What the fuck are you doing? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it doesn't. But like I said, as I kind of worked my way through my rage of emotions on all this stuff, I started to think about it and going, well, who are they talking to? They're in Detroit. They're on Woodward. They're not going to bring up Tesla, which is a non-union company. They're not going to bring up Tesla, which is built in California. It's not a normal car company. It's not a Detroit car. And they're talking to Dodge fans. Of course they're not going to talk about the Tesla. They're going to talk about something they know as a performance metric, which is the Hellcat. Now, they could have said Demon, but they didn't. But
That's
I
disappointing.
think that's kind of their sacred cow, but that's okay.
Gosh.
That's fine.
It's their sacred cow, but I mean, if you're talking about ushering this new era of, electrification, you might as well just aim for the biggest dog of the bunch. Because if I had if all I cared about was how fast my car was, and I had a Demon, and I found out that this electric car was coming out and it could smoke my Demon, and I was all about performance, and I just wanted a car that was the fastest, I'd be out to get one of these Banshees.
Right. And I did do some digging a little bit. I couldn't get a clear sense of how many volts the Tesla Plaid's running, but I did see the Lucid Air says that their system is a 900 volts.
Oh, really?
So, and
What's the
that's
price
their
point on that
1100 horsepower thing. What was that, Ty?
What's the price point on that Lucid?
170,000.
Jesus Christ! My
Yeah.
God! What the fuck? What are we even doing here?
And what are the Plaids at?
I think the Plaids are pretty close to that. I think they're in the 140, 160,000. I'm not, I haven't gone to a Tesla deal. Oh, they don't have dealerships. Never mind. I haven't priced out a Tesla in probably 5-10 years, but just to see where they were at. But I would imagine, you know, it's hard to compare those, right? Because Tesla and how much self-driving shit is a Dodge going to have in it? I don't know. They're probably going to have some level of autonomous driving in that thing, just because that's where we're at now these days. But you know, like a Hellcat is way faster than a lot of Porsches, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, so those kind of caliber cars that cost way more than those cars do. So I imagine that the Dodge could still be performance-wise, still be priced at a point where it's cheaper yet faster, but people go, well, it's a Dodge, who cares? You know, could be wrong. I could be wrong. You never know. The Banshee with, you know, the 800-volt system with the direct connection turned to 9, maybe that's 140,000. I mean, that wouldn't. I mean, you look at what Demon sold for with dealer markup, that puts in that territory. So,
how do you feel about the exhaust, the Fratsonic chambered exhaust?
Well, like I said, I get on off air too. It's to me, it's weird. It's if it's amplified noise that it's picking up from the actual system making things, I can kind of get behind it.
Yeah.
But if there's any, like, oh, we've created a track that sounds half like a lion roaring and part of a Hellcat, and you know, some unicorn sounds in there, whatever, I shut it off. Give me the George Jetson soundtrack instead. I mean, seriously. And like my comparison is like when they introduced the car from the horse and buggy, they didn't make the first cars go down the street dropping horse manure as they drove down the street, just because they let that go. We can. It's not part of the process. It doesn't need to be there. And I don't know. Dodge doesn't do anything else fake. That's the weird thing about this. That's why. I mean, I hope it's amplified of the noise that the car is actually making to begin with, but
it's supposed
even
to
that
be.
is kind of like, if you can shut it off, then it shouldn't be there.
Yeah,
it's my opinion.
Supposedly, it pushes air and everything. You can put your hand up to it, and you can actually feel it pulsating. From what I understand, I know Bill Adams is in the chat, and he said he talked to Mike Musto, who wouldn't bullshit anybody, and he said it's legit.
He's a pretty straight shooter.
Pretty straight shooter. How do you guys? We haven't talked about this yet. The shifting in this thing. So all electric cars are one gear, except for what is said to be the Banshee that has the ability to, I guess, shift gears. But from what I understand, it really doesn't have gears. I'm trying to figure out what they're doing with that.
It's probably like a Xbox controller gear shift.
Yeah,
you're sitting there moving it. It's not really doing anything. You're just moving it.
Right. It's basically holding. It's slowing you down as you get to a theoretical shift point, right? So you're slightly slowing down, and then it goes, "Oh, we should shift now." Hit him with full power. Right? It gives you that fakeness. Again, I imagine you could program that out. Don't give me that shit. I want to go fast in a straight line.
Yeah.
I don't need to shift. Like if you're actually going to drag race it, why would you want that? You wouldn't want that. No, I want it. Just give me the linear, 10% tire slip the whole way through. I want to go. Just let me go, and don't give me the shift points. I mean,
so do you hold the button if you're going to drag race it?
There is on the if you look at the pictures of the Banshee of the interior, there is a button, like it's called like power launch or some crap like that, or power something, power, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But there is and on the Hornet RT and GLH, there's a button you press to get your little extra boost. You first have to turn the dial to 11, and then you get your boost.
Oh man, is it just me, or does that thing just seem like it has too much gimmicky shit on it? It seems like it's too full of gimmicks. Way too gimmicky. It's all right.
It's a concept, though. It's meant to get people excited about it.
Sure.
It's kind of
like a Tesla.
I mean, it's also. I mean, you gotta realize, like when they relaunched the Camaro, they built an entire movie around it called Transformers.
Yeah, man, that's what everybody talks about.
Movie around the Dodge is called Fast and Furious.
Yeah. Well, everybody's been talking about the sound from the movie The Wraith. With Charlie Sheen, which I think is funny because I watched that movie all the time as a kid because I'm a huge fan of the M4S. I think it's funny. So Dutch guys mentioned the exhaust note is from the Wraith, but apparently from what I understand, this is just the natural sound of this propulsion system, just amplified. That's the way I understand it.
I would believe that if it wasn't for the fact the car is sitting still and they still get a rev noise.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to Chris about this. Like,
Yeah.
so did they dump it into neutral and like? How,
But even then, the electric motors wouldn't be doing anything if it's sitting
well,
still.
I know. That's what I was trying to figure. Like,
Yeah.
it's making. I don't.
It's
He's
like they're
tooling around at 2
disengaged or
miles
something.
an hour, and
Can you not rev a car with your foot on the brake?
Well, the problem of it is like
it didn't look like that was happening though. It was smooth through.
Yeah,
the drive.
Yeah.
It was definitely smooth through. Was it you, Bud, that told me there was a pedal that you could control the sound? I thought.
No, I wasn't. But he did mention we have a loud pedal, and I almost wonder, is there a third pedal, and it's just the
Could you
noise
imagine?
pedal
Oh
you're
my
making?
God. Oh my God.
God.
Wow.
Some kid dad is going to have one of those, and they're going to find an old Mopar, and they're going to be like, it's got an exhaust pedal.
Oh,
Yeah.
We call those manual, son.
An exhaust pedal. That's totally what it's going to end up being. I like that.
Oh shit!
My
No,
God.
it's be the dimmer switch. You know, they'll get in a setting. Look at the dimmer switch.
They
Maybe
finally
like,
brought
yeah.
it back, just not how we wanted it.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
Oh shit!
Let's keep it rolling a little bit. Blake, how do you feel about Speed Week and all the recent announcements from Dodge? What are your opinions?
I think about it a little bit differently.
Okay.
Okay. Take it from the standpoint of you are maybe not quite the smallest, but you're low end of the totem pole of the big three, probably, right?
Yeah.
I think you're really gaining in the truck space. So, I mean, you can't say they're the underdog anymore, but so you're the lowest guy on a totem pole in Detroit. You're fighting like hell to stay alive, right?
Yeah.
They're doing things that no other manufacturer is doing. GM doesn't care. Ford doesn't care. They're like, yep, we're going all electric. Who cares? And at least they're trying, I would say, right? So look at the whole thing in a nutshell, right? You have some stuff that no one has ever done before. GM has never said, hey, we're going to start and come back with carbon fiber 69 Camaro bodies.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to come and say, hey, let's put this ludicrous amount of effort into like an EV, right? They just want to literally pay the light bill. That's all they care about. So if you look at the EV car with its ridiculously long name, look at it in general. I mean, a lot of people are selling their soul, but at least they're trying to stick true to something, right? The noise. You mentioned the noise. How many people go out and buy a car and put exhaust on it and make it louder and amplify the sound?
That's true.
People enjoy it. They do it because they like it. If it's the speaker, okay, well, that's...
Yeah. That was my biggest.
Yeah.
If it's a speaker and this is 100% artificial, it's bullshit. I don't want it.
Right.
Well, let's think about it, okay? So if it's actually coming from the propulsion system, which they say it does,
Yeah.
Why not let people hear it? I mean, why do we put loud exhaust on a car? We say it's for performance, but I can tell you right now, if you're putting a Flowmaster 40 series on anything, you're hurting your performance, right? You just want the loud noise, right? I've done dyno tests back to back, and I've not seen good gains. I've seen loss of like 10 to 12 horsepower on average putting a 40 series on a car. It sounds great.
Shit.
Worth it. Completely worth it.
Well, there you go,
Yeah.
Johnny. So, you know, it's the sound thing, right? It's a preferential thing, you know? I'm all about form and function and not being fake, right? I mean, for the same reason we don't like cars with Hellcat badges on a GT, right? It's, what are you doing? Like, no. Like, but we see it all the time, right? You see it and it's like, oh my God, that's ridiculous, right? But look at the simplistic fact that no other automotive manufacturer has even tried to please their customer base as much as Dodge has, right?
You're correct.
They're trying. They're trying, right? The Hornet, I think that's complete garbage. But
But it's a commuter car. I think
it serves
yeah.
a point. It serves a purpose, right? And look what the neon did in the 90s. I don't think anyone loves a neon. Right? I don't think so.
Oh, I was gonna say, you give me a neon ACR, I'll be a happy camper.
Okay, I'm talking about bottom of the barrel. Like,
yeah, fuck them.
I'm
The
talking about
espresso, the
cheapest,
espresso.
the most vanilla, the pumpkin spice latte of neons, right?
If Jovita was in here, she'd be kicking your ass.
No, seriously. Right?
She's listening right
use
now.
RT or ACR or SRT.
You have to differentiate, because if you call an SRT4 a neon, you will get crucified. Okay, I've learned that. There's a difference, right? But look at the holistic picture. It kept Chrysler alive. The K cars kept Chrysler alive to where they could come to a point where they eventually made Challengers and Chargers again, Hellcats again, right? What really got me excited about Speed Week is not really so much what was going on in the building, but what was outside the building. Did you see the big rig with the cars on it?
Yeah.
Did any of you see the close-up pictures of them?
No.
Okay. So I had a friend of mine who's actually there, and I was getting pictures from him directly. And if you actually look,
thanks for sharing those. Cool.
Yeah, I sent them to you, Chris. I sent them to you. You got them.
Oh, that's right. We were actually talking about that. That's right.
We're trying to call.
Oh, now we remember.
My bad. My bad.
Man. So, and Chris, I don't know if you could do a screen, pull it up on the screen. You know you have the pictures, but I don't know if you can or not. But regardless, so there's 7 cars on this car carrier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other manufacturer, I can almost guaranteed, would have been like, "Yep, we're done. Pulling the plug. See you later." Look what Chevrolet did with the Camaro in 2002. Bye. I had one. I had an SS. Loved it. Bye. Done. Pull the plug. Dodge is going out in fashion. If you look at all the car covers on those 7 specific models that are coming out, it has a few things. One, it has a release date. Second, it has the displacement. And third, it has a number, which I assume, just me, is going to be a production number, how many they're going to make of each.
That's right. That's right. We were talking about this, yeah.
Okay. So first off, on the trailer, in the very front of the trailer, you have 6.4 cars. So you have 392 cars. Limited edition 392 cars. So you have one in kind of like this crazy black with red pinstriping. It's a 6.4 car, some sort of special edition. And I think it had like 3,000 as the number, right? It had a release date, and I'm assuming 3,000 units you're going to make of that. And as you progress towards the end of the trailer, you're seeing some really cool stuff, right? So next up in line, you have these 2 cars above and below that are in this floral print, kind of like the mod tops from back in the day, right?
That was my guess.
They're both 6.4s, right? 1,000 units, so just 1,000 of them, I assume, are going to be produced. Because they're the same floral print car cover, I'm assuming, one is a Charger, one is a Challenger. The body shapes match, right? So you're like, The one on top's the Charger, the one on the bottom's a Challenger variant. So there's going to be some sort of a special edition with the 6.4. Moving on to the back of the trailer, at the very tail end, you see 2 that are very, very much heightening of my awarenesses. Like this is what's piquing my interest. You have 2 that are marked displacement 6.2 HO, high output. Okay.
I missed
They
that.
have a unit count of 300 each.
Interesting.
So the one at the top has, I'm assuming is a Charger based on the silhouette, kind of the outline of it. It has the crowns like imprinted all over the car cover, which matches the roll-up door on one of the garage, Dodge Garage 24 months.
The never lift.
Right?
Yeah.
So that matches, right? And I think the date on that is sometime in September. So that's, I think, like the 21st or 4th, something like that. And then directly beneath it is a Challenger, pretty obviously, 6.2 high output, 300 units, same date of release, and it has like this black and gray car cover on it. So I think that they are going to really try to go all out and then from there they're going to progress forward. So I think you're going to see a smaller car come out. So they're going to venture into the 4-doors because they sold so many Chargers, you guys.
Yeah.
Utilitarian. It is what it is. But I think they're going to drop down to some sort of a platform that they have in common with the Stellantis chain, just like they did with the Hornet. I think they're going to have something good, crazy horsepower that's going to be gas powered, like the Hurricane engine. But again, EV was cool. That's nice. I was really focused on what was on the trailer outside. I guess just being a car guy looking at the numbers. Well, one last thing to say about the EV is, you got to do something, right? Your back's kind of against the wall. But why not do it with flavor and style?
100%.
I think that's all part of it, man. I think that's part of it. I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's going to kill anything, man. I don't think it's going to hurt.
I was very curious about that trailer stuff. What was that, Tommy?
I was saying, as long as if they're giving us K cars, as long as we get a Spirit RT.
Yeah, right.
I just want my first Mopar back. My first authentic Mopar I ever had, a Chrysler Conquest. You can't get much Mopar than that.
So one last thing I want to talk about is, you talk about the comparative between the new Banshee and the Hellcat. It's like, why do they compare it to Hellcat? Well, in my mind, if I were giving a similar presentation, it's your target audience, you guys.
Yep.
So I would not go in front of diehard Mopars and talk about speed as something that relates to a completely different field or interest, right? I wouldn't go out there and be like, hey, this new EV is as fast as a Mercury 225 two-stroke or something like that. Whatever it is. Like, that's irrelevant. It's your,
That's true.
I get EV, you want to compare it to another EV. I get that sentiment, but if you're in a room full of people who love the Hellcat and it's the king, you're saying, hey, we're going to topple the king of your demographic, right?
That makes sense.
So that's just the way I look at it. Maybe I'm an optimist.
It took me a day or two to get there, but I agree with you. It took me why would you? But yeah, I agree with you. It took me a day to get there, but yeah.
It took me days, but I feel what you're saying. Yeah, as far as the Hellcat goes, it makes sense that it's the benchmark because that back in 2015 was like, holy shit. The Hellcat came out and it was the king with the exception of these special editions that came out. Now you got your super stock and then you had the Demon. But the Hellcat has always been like the staple of everything. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm curious, man. The back of that car trailer, again, the EV, that's cool. That's great and all. Bringing back the Durango. I know they sold out of the Hellcat Durangos and they couldn't make enough of them. But the back of the trailer is really what I'm excited about. A high output Hellcat, something crazy, stupid, fast. Yeah. That's what's going to be cool.
I was under the wrong impression, man. I feel robbed because that they were going to have announced what those cars were during Speed Week. I didn't realize it was only going to be 3 days worth of stuff. I wasn't paying that close of attention. So yeah, I feel robbed a little bit because I was like, man, what the hell? But I mean, that's how they're building anticipation. So I guess that's cool. I just feel like it was a tease. I was like, come on, man. He's going to put it up there and not let me see what's going on. But it pulls attention and it's going to hold their attention because now they want to know what's under those. And I hope Dodge has some more up their sleeve. And I'm really curious to see how true to the concept this Banshee or this Charger stays. And how muted the low end versions are going to be because they showed us the top line, what they imagine the top line will be. So, he said that I think he said something about there being a few different levels, and RT is going to be the very, the high car. So we'll see. But we've got a couple more guys in here that I want to get their opinions. Matt first. We got the old school Mopar guy, Jonny Mopar in the corner. We're going to wait to talk to you last, Johnny.
Sounds good. I have some opinions.
I know you do. I can't wait. Matt, what is on Speed Week, all the releases, and of course this EV?
Well, I'm pretty excited for the bodies in white, to be honest.
Okay.
Because like we were saying, I mean, that could be an easy, inexpensive way to get. I won't say they use the word easy, change that, but I mean that could be a way for somebody to get into a Challenger cost effectively, I guess. Not time effective, but definitely cost effective. The electric, I really think the sound was just a big gimmick, and they're hoping it might catch on. I mean, I saw the same thing on Pit My Ride back in the day. They put it under a minivan. It was a speaker. But here's the thing. It was tied into the throttle position sensor. So the more gas you gave it, the more intense the sound got. And they're like, you can make this sound wherever you want, and it will increase the RPMs of the sound. Now, granted, it was a gimmick, and they took it off, like they did most of the stuff on that show. But, so, like I said, I feel like the sound was gimmicky. I really dig the design of the car.
Yeah.
I think they nailed the futuristic look for it while paying honor to the past generations.
Yeah.
I mean, I showed the picture to some people at work that aren't car people, and they thought it was a great looking car. I mean, if it's in the price point of like the Plaid, I looked it up. The Plaids were like $134.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Plaids are like $134.
It's not bad.
It's not horrible,
Not
but
bad.
I mean,
For what it
it's
is. I mean,
yeah. For what
Yeah, no,
considered.
whatever. It is.
I mean, but I'm just saying look at what they're charging for Hellcats and stuff right now.
Yeah.
So I mean,
$100K for a top end one.
yeah. So I mean, $134,000 for the next generation all electric Hellcat killer. I mean, that doesn't sound outrageous now in comparison, but I mean, it's well outside my budget.
Yeah.
But I really wish they'd hurry up and do something with the Hurricane 6. As Blake and Chris and Johnny know, I'm a huge Slant 6 guy. I kept the one out of my Duster just because I like the engine, I like the platform. I mean, and I like pretty much everybody that's ever listened to me talk about this stuff. I'm really new to the car market and to the car game, like compared to everybody else sitting here right now. So I mean, my opinion is what it is, but I mean, I'm excited for what they're going to try. At least they're trying, like Blake said.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, like Ford. I think they copied what Ford did with the Broncos, where they had all the aftermarket parts that were Ford certified and didn't void your warranty on the new Bronco. So I mean, that's what they're doing with the direct connection stuff. It's not a bad gimmick because I mean, look how hot those Fords are selling, and you can't get them. Like I know this is the wrong show, but I'm just saying, like in comparison, it's a hard to get car or vehicle,
Sure.
and I mean they're popping up everywhere. So
That's true. It's like one day that, like around here, it was like one day, one showed up at a dealership. The next day, it seemed like everybody and their mom has a new Bronco. I see them almost as much as I see JK Wranglers around here. It's crazy.
Look, you can't throw a rock without hitting a Charger or a Challenger in my neck of the woods. You can't. And
true too here.
And it's getting the same way with these new Broncos. So I mean, the fact that Dodge is kind of copying that and going with the direct connections, this doesn't void your warranty, but is a performance part. That's exciting because I mean that opens up a whole avenue for these guys that already have purchased their product.
Yeah.
Well, Bronco also did Ford did. I don't know if you want to call it smart or devious, but you've got the Bronco, and then you've got the Bronco Sport, which is just the Ford Escape with a fancy Bronco nose on it or whatever.
Yeah.
I made a movie about that in the 80s. It was Arnold
Face Off,
and another guy. It was like called Twins or something. Where there was like
that's the one.
So
I could go on a whole Ford rant about how stupid that stuff is. Like,
so I have a theory.
It's the Sport, right? And it's more expensive than the Bronco. No, it's the shittier one.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay.
No, so I have a theory about that. I think the Bronco Sport was what they were going to give us, and then they saw GM shit the bed with the Blazer, and they're like, "You all get back there and fix this." Because
I'll jump in on that one. So we're getting this Hornet. So we can go back to this mundane daily driver.
Yeah.
Ford is knocking it out with the Maverick.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
That's
I
true.
mean, so I'm looking to get rid of my daily. I daily drive a Kia because
Okay.
until recently I drove a shit ton of miles.
Yeah.
And I started looking at these Mavericks. You can't find them.
Oh no, you can't.
No.
I have yet to see one on a dealership lot.
Yeah, I got a buddy who sells Fords, and he said they just are about to open ordering, and he said be prepared. If you order, you're probably going to wait 9 months.
Yep.
Jeez.
I drive past the largest volume Ford dealer. I believe it's the largest volume Ford dealer in my state. It basically, this whole named Snohomish was basically built around this dealership, and I have not seen one on their lot. So, and I think I've only on the street, surprisingly, but they sell the trucks and Broncos like hotcakes there.
So one thing I'm interested to see is if the two others of the big three will follow Ford's lead and start to do away with the dealership model.
Oh yeah, I did read about that.
Ford's doing away with the dealership model, and they're going to sell directly to their consumers. Mainly, what they're blaming is the markups that occurred with the Broncos, because people were ordering their Broncos, they'd get to the dealership, and dealership would mark them up to like 6 figures.
Jesus Christ, so crazy.
So Ford said, "Okay, we told you guys not to do this. You did it. You're done." Is the gist of what they're trying to blame it on? I think they're just trying to muscle out having to share their profits and the sales.
It would be interesting to me though. How do they plan on servicing these vehicles if they're going to circumvent the dealerships on selling them? I mean,
I think what
that'll
they'll
be the
do.
interesting piece.
I think what they'll do is they'll leave the dealers as certified service centers. I mean, it's going to be a tough gamble. Like I said, it's going to be a real interesting time.
That'll be interesting to watch that play out because that's
Yeah.
not. I mean, you look at the dealership networks going to their lobbyists and blocking Tesla from selling direct in their states.
Yeah.
And now they got Ford wanting to do it. That's going to be an interesting. That'll be an interesting move. But Dodge, Ford doesn't do anything that makes sense. I mean, we've got the Mustang Mach-E and the Ford Lightning, both electric. So they clearly don't do anything that makes sense.
The only thing Ford does right every now and then, and this is going to get me some hate, is their special edition Mustangs. I think they knocked out of the park with the Mach 1 coming back, and I really enjoyed the Bullet remake. I loved it.
The Bullets have always been pretty cool.
Yeah, I love the Bullet.
I'll sign up and I'll take a 350, the GTR, whatever the 350R, whatever that one is.
Yeah.
I'll take that one. No problems. No questions asked.
I mean,
okay. All right, this is
Chris
Talking fucking Mopars, okay? So now I have to throw the Hail Mary and go, Jonny Mopar is in the building. Jonny, what are your BigBlock thoughts about Dodge and all this new shit?
440 swap the world, man. Fuck it all. So I heard you guys talking earlier about you don't think that they're going to completely kill off the old performance or gas engines, right? Did I hear that right? I think Bud was saying that.
If I were reading between the lines, I got the quote of what Tim Kaniska said during Speed Week Day 1. It says, the 2023 model year will be the last of the L model Hemi cars.
Okay.
I think it's just that. It's been around since 2005 or 6.
It could be the L model car, but I think it's the Hemi that's going to get the axe, just because they've got the Hurricanes as the new engines that have higher efficiencies and higher horsepower levels. But that's my opinion and my guess.
Could be.
So if they're not going to kill off performance car, the only thing I'm pissed off about is if they're going to kill off gas engine performance, especially from the way politics are going and kind of forcing EV cars on us and stuff. That part pisses me off. If those cars are going to die, they should die because the market doesn't want them anymore. It shouldn't be driven by politics or politicians or government or even corporations. And if the corporation is going to kill it off and their market dies because of it, then they deserve to die. So
Correct.
That's how I feel about the gas engines. I don't want to see them go away. I want to see the performance stay. Now let's push that aside. As far as the electric cars, I think the new electric car is great. I think that this is uncharted territory. I think it's a blank canvas. I think I'm tired of hearing people talk about the freaking Tesla and how fast it is on the track. And it's like, it's a fucking, commuter car. It's like plain Jane. There's nothing sexy about it. I mean, the Model S is the best thing they got. Every other electric car they have looks like crap to me. Every single electric car that's ever been built looks like shit. Toyota was like the first one to build a car, electric car, that actually, even though it's a commuter car, it is what it is. It was the first car that actually looked decent. Like, at least it looks like a freaking car. It doesn't look like a little Cracker Jack box that's, super aero and it's a piece of crap, Finally, Dodge is coming out with a muscle car electric car. Nobody else makes it. I say it's a blank canvas. I say it looks good too. And personally, I don't feel like it's in competition with, say, Hellcats. I think it's a different front. In an example, it's like you have trucks and you have Chargers and Challengers. Now, you could say trucks are in competition with those cars, but I don't think they are. I think it's a different plane. It's a different playing field. And I think the electric car is also going to be a different playing field, even though it is going to be on a muscle car, styling or stance or, that kind of market. I think it's going to be really expensive at first. So I don't think people are going to go rushing into that and abandon, like Hellcats and stuff like that. The third thing I want to ask all the viewers in there. So about the exhausts and whether it's speakers or not. If you guys if you're good with fake boobs, I want you to put a thumbs up in the comments. If you do not like fake boobs, put a thumbs down. So I'm curious how people feel about fake.
I mean, I'm fine either way.
There's nothing wrong with bolt-ons, man.
That's a Cali guy talking right there. That's
so. I mean, if it was like a Hellcat and it was fake exhaust with speakers, I would not be happy with it. But again, with the electric car, I think it's a blank canvas, and I think you have a lot of freedom to just try a bunch of shit. It's silly, but I have a buddy that has a Tesla, and it's like, you got the freaking touch screen on the car, and you can do all kinds of goofy stuff with it. You could put in different sounds the car makes, or I don't know. It's just goofy stuff, and I think go for it. If people don't like it, they will, through their decisions in buying, they will decide that, they're going to reject that feature, especially if they charge extra for it. You want the sound option or not,
Oh, like BMW and the heated seats?
Yeah,
Oh,
I was about to bring that up.
those motherfuckers, dude.
Gotta pay a subscription fee to keep your ass warm. Really?
Hey,
Good
I
God.
don't think we're safe from that on this Banshee. It made me think that all the modes they show, donut mode and burn, it made me think that you had to do a direct connection to get those assets in your car. So we're gonna rely on Blake to find a way to hack it so we can shot the car.
Yeah, well, definitely. Actually, Blake, that we're gonna have to get you one of those cars just so you can rip into it, figure out what you can hack, dude.
I'm game.
Hey, shout out to Noah. Here you go, Johnny. This is a kid after your own heart, dude. He's
Look at
doing a
this kid.
440 swap and a 74 Dart that he got 2 years ago when he was 16.
Nice.
Hell yeah, dude.
So I will say this. I think they're going to keep the Hemi around at least as a crate. I know we haven't really
They
said
better.
that yet. They make too much money off their crate engines. So, like, look at the Elephant. They made, what, 1,000 in their first production run?
No, it was less than that, man.
How many was it?
They sold out. Well,
I think it
sales
was
versus how
1,000.
many they actually made and shipped.
Well, they sold out in 2 hours, and they were $30,000. They were $30,000 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm proven wrong, awesome. But I really think they made 1,000.
Is there
I don't think it was that
actually...
high. I think there was a number, and they ended up saying they built more of them than they initially were, but I still don't think it was 1,000.
I don't think it was 1,000. I could be wrong though.
Don't make
I
me
think
Google
it was lower.
Does anybody else produce a block for these Gen 3 Hemis?
Yes.
Yeah.
They do? Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I think they have too much money to lose in not having the Hemi as a crate engine.
Because to be honest, I don't care who makes it as long as it's available. You know what I mean? That's
I think they will continue to make it because that's not going to apply to them on the EPA number stuff. If it's a crate engine designed for pre-carb cars, that's not going to go against their EPA, having to pay penalties and pay, carbon credits and all that crap.
No, it's
so I'd imagine as long as that plant in Mexico keeps pumping them out, they'll keep those going. Because that's independent of the Brampton plant in Canada.
They're not going to get involved with speed corn manufacturing these carbon fiber muscle car bodies and then get rid of the whole aftermarket, catalog built crate engines and all that shit. So when they said they had those carbon fiber bodies in the pipeline and not just a Charger, a CUDA, and a Roadrunner, I was like, all right, cool. That tells me that I don't believe they're getting rid of the Hemi anytime soon as far as a crate option goes.
No, but I mean, like I said, in all honesty, Blake and Chris definitely know I am jonesing to own my own Challenger, a modern Challenger. I'm dying. I'm dying for it. I would probably gladly drive one with one of those Hurricane V6s just because if it's putting out that kind of power, it's still going to be a fun car to drive around.
Sure.
And, it'd just be. I still think it'd be fun to go fast in one of those. It won't be the same as the Hemi.
I'm reading an article here that says they only made 100 of the Elephant engines because they had to hand build them when there was issues with production.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
I thought it was
okay.
100. I'm going to say.
So I added an extra 0. I'm sorry. But still.
Well, you had the horsepower, right?
Yeah, but still, how much money is that in 2 hours for them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I think the crate will live. The crate Hemi engine will live a long life. I think they'll continue to pump those out until our lovely elected officials make some changes to pre-existing classics and make those go away too, or something stupid. But
they can't. There's no way. The only thing I could see them doing is just taxing the shit out of us. And obviously, if gas prices get up to what were we talking about, $20 a gallon or something insane, then it might be a thing. But I'm already preparing for the day they go, all right, you want to drive that old piece of shit? We're going to tax the shit out of you.
Well, I mean, but think about this. They already tried it with cash for clunkers. That was government backed.
Well, they're being sneaky about the insurance here. Now, if I have a classic vehicle or what people call an antique plate in other states, here you're only allowed to operate your vehicle a certain amount of miles a year and for only certain things. You can't just drive your car to work, even though everybody will break that rule. At least I have. It's like a slow encroachment onto our freedoms with what the fuck we can do with our vehicles. It's only a matter of time before they say, all right, you want to drive your classic, you got to pay, you got to have the special little tag in your window, and it's going to cost you $5,000 a year or something ridiculous.
So in the state of Arkansas, if you have an antique tag and it's on a truck, you can't haul anything in the bed. You can't.
Yeah.
They also have the stipulation that if you have an antique tag, you can't drive more than 2,500 miles in a year.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, the state of Arkansas doesn't have vehicle inspections, so no one ever checks.
Yeah.
Right. Minnesota has something similar for classic car tags. There's rules on how often you can be driving. It's supposed to be to and from shows or events or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But
So
no
in
one does that.
Louisiana, get an antique tag, you have those stipulations, as well as you have to submit photographs of all 4 sides to show that it's an original trim. And it's completely stock, classic, original, untouched, whatever.
Yeah.
And so everybody goes and they Google images. They send them in. We have all these trucks that are like bagged on like 20-inch wheels, like these old, C10s and Dodge trucks, and they're scraping the ground, and they have crazy extensive modifications. But they just went on Google and printed up some pictures and just shot them suckers in.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. That's awesome.
See, it's all fun and games until they start cracking down on shit like that. And don't put it past this totalitarian bullshit where we better not get too political here, but they will eventually they will come for us. I promise you.
They're already doing it. Look at who was it? the government's going after the diesel tuners right now.
The EPA. Now, that
Yeah,
being
EPA.
said,
Thank you.
but that being said, the Supreme Court told them they need to chill because they're trying to affect how the market goes, and they can't do that.
Yeah. Well, they're still doing it.
Well, I mean, they're still doing it. But I mean, like I believe the RPM Act is all but shelved right now.
Yeah.
It'll be back.
It always comes back.
We'll see what happens. but
Everything makes around because they think we'll forget.
The problem is, and we just have to face it, that there's an attack on our hobby, dude, and we got to fight that kind of shit. So when the things, for everybody listening, when things like the RPM Act come around, and people are asking you to sign these petitions and stuff, and you just blow them off, dude, just sign the fucking petition. You know what I mean? Just that shit scares me. I don't like when the government starts getting involved in things like what kind of car I can drive, how far I can drive them, things like that. That's some bullshit. And it's, Johnny and I are West Coasters, and it's bad over here. It's getting gnarly, and it's only going to get worse. So, Johnny, when are we moving to Texas, dude?
As soon as the YouTube channel takes off.
I knew you were going to say that.
As soon as those Google checks start coming in,
Yeah, exactly.
Chris,
what's up?
One thing I wanted to talk about is we were talking about the direct connection in the dealerships, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So something I want to bring up is, how they could potentially be hurting the aftermarket with the direct connection line.
Okay.
So I have a friend that works at a power broker dealership.
Okay.
And I was trying to source some parts for a build, and he said, "Oh, by the way, did you know all the new stipulations behind direct connection and power brokers?" And I'm like, "No, I know it's kind of hard for me to get a couple Mopar performance parts." I said, "Yeah." So this was who I got this information from someone that worked at a power broker dealer. Like I said, this is not from me. This is not end all be all, but Mopar performance parts will come from power broker dealers only.
Fuck.
Now, so what they're wanting to do is you take your crate engines, your crate kits, like your engine kits and accessories. They want to reserve them only for power broker dealerships. So like your Mancini's, your Jegs, your Summits, all of those companies that sell them secondhand, they have an account, a large account with Mopar, can no longer acquire them. They're wanting everything to be funneled through the power broker dealers. So that could minimize sales, and it could minimize, I don't know about you all, but in my neck of the woods, the techs at the dealerships aren't the best.
No.
Yeah.
So if the only place you could get a very much desired performance part is through a dealership that may not have the best techs, that don't live and breathe this stuff, are you really getting that same service? Are you getting the same access to parts?
It was concerning to me the last time I was in the dealership, and I went up to the parts counter and I said, "Hey, are you guys going to be part of that power broker program and deal out the direct connection stuff?" And the guy looked at me and he goes, "What's power broker? What?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck, do you not know shit or what?" I was like, "Never mind, dude." I was like, maybe know your brand.
I had that exact same conversation, except it was I won't even say it. I had with a dealership that I know locally, but it was a higher up at the dealership, and he just looked at me and did the same thing, like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
Yep. They're like that out here too. Like Glendora Dodge is the only one that has old school guys selling parts for old school cars and engines.
Yeah.
They were at
any other Dodge dealership, nothing. They don't know shit.
I will give it up for those guys because they were at Muscle Cars at the Strip. Shout out to Matt's. Glendora Dodge is badass. I talked to those guys. I walked up and they had Mopar Performance W2 valve covers. I was like, "Holy shit!" And they were cheap. They were like less than $300 if I remember right. And I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "These are like gold in the aftermarket world." I didn't even know they still pump them out. And the guy goes, "Oh, they're not manufacturing them anymore. We just bought all the old stock." And I was like, "Oh shit!"
Wait,
so shout out to Glendora Dodge.
Is that the old Roseville?
I don't think so.
Glendora?
Glendora Dodge has been Glendora Dodge for a long, long time, right?
Okay, so that's out of County.
Yeah, it's Cali.
Okay. There's
Yeah.
Is it Cali or is it? It is
Yeah,
Cali.
it's Kelly.
Right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's here. It's not that far from me. I mean, it's probably, I don't know, hour away or something like that. I want to say edge of Los Angeles and Riverside County, like the edge of the two, perhaps.
there's Roseville, which is Detroit based. Well, I think they're Golling now, Golling, I think. They are a dealership in Detroit that they literally have an old school showroom. You go in there and it is just old school. I mean, you got 68, 69 Bs sitting on the floor.
Oh, hell
you
yeah.
have AMD sheet metal hanging on the walls.
Yes.
You have, I mean, it is an old school, honest to goodness showroom. And they even have an old school service department with cars in there for, I mean, like a lot of BE body stuff like that.
Yes.
Look them up. They're very, very active in the automotive community. So you see them quite often at like the Carlisle and some of those big shows.
I've definitely heard of them. I've definitely heard of Roseville for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Check out their spread, man. It's amazing. You know,
if they're like nostalgic like that, I would love to go check that shit out. That sounds awesome. Yeah. That's one of the most disappointing things about this modern era, dude. I'm sure Jonny, out of everyone here, I think Jonny is the oldest. But Jonny, you were still around when they had the old speed shops and shit, right?
Yeah, I actually bought a set of tires from Super Shops.
I was gonna ask you about Super Shops. Oh, that's so cool. Shit, I missed those days.
Oh,
missed them.
It's awesome. I mean, it's like if you were to go on Summit Racing, the website, and you know how you kind of just see a bunch of stuff. That's how Super Shops was. You walked inside and it was like wheels, tires, headers, intakes, heads. I mean, everything, and it was all there. I mean, when I went, that would have been in the 90s. It wasn't a lot of Mopar stuff per se, but they had a few things. But yeah, the good old days. We still have a old school, kind of like an old school speed shop called J&M Speed out in Riverside.
Cool.
Mostly Chevys and Ford stuff, but cool.
Yeah, those speed shops, man, they were cool. We had one. It was locally to me, only a few miles away. It was called Jim Green's Performance Center. They were around for a long time, and then eventually they folded up shop, which was super sad because it was like, for a long time, it was one of those old school shops where they had like 2 bays, and it was just like you go inside and you know that some of those parts had been sitting there for 35 years and they were still, and they just, over the years, the price just kept going up, and there's like a little stack of price tags on the fucking things because they're just marking them up as time goes on. Like an inch of dust on the shit.
That's cool.
Yeah, man, it's really too bad things have changed so much, because that was like you go hang out at the, in my generation, with the Fast and the Furious and shit, there was import shops everywhere. And I always, when I would drive by and I'd see, all the import guys hanging out, it was cool because it was like, this been what it was like in the 70s. And I heard my dad talking, shop about that kind of stuff and stories about going to these shops and seeing all the cars and everybody in the shit. And I've been to a couple of them, and it was pretty cool because for me, because that was my generation, it was like, oh, this is like the modern day. It's obviously not a muscle car era, but it's another era of people tuning cars and customizing cars, which was cool for what it was, back in the day.
It's a candy store.
Yeah, it really is. But in my day, like, you walk in and they got like air fresheners and shit and like seatbelt fucking pads and giant fiberglass front ends. And then over in the corner was the nitrous that nobody could afford. They just all looked at it.
That one kit.
Yeah, the one kit that just sat on the shelf.
Or was it a strategically hidden speaker? You seen that?
Or the underglow kit that was actually the neon tubes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, those are huge. Those are making a huge comeback right now.
Are they?
The actual tubes?
People who don't want the LED, they want the nostalgic neon tube. Those things are going for money right now.
Wow,
that's hilarious.
Like, was it Street Glow or Underglow?
Yeah, Street Glow. It was Street Glow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tommy, you got to put that in your car.
The saddest part about the import shops is when you walk in and there's more stickers than there are actual car parts. That always blew my mind.
Sir, you get 5 horsepower per sticker.
I guess. And there was a
no,
period of time.
It's 10. It's 10.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bud
Only if it's
actually
your
writes.
sticker.
Bud writes prescriptions.
I write prescriptions for stickers. It's 10 horsepower per sticker.
Okay.
What was funny though is for a period of time it seemed like all the stickers were like yellow. It was the weirdest shit. Everybody up here had yellow stickers, bright yellow. And then finally somebody must have said, "Hey, why do they all have to be yellow? Because they don't match our cars." A lot of Honda guys putting new speed stickers on their shit.
Yep.
What a time to be alive! I'll tell you that.
We had a store in the mall, the local mall.
No
called
shit.
Classic Conversions, and literally it was a full store in the mall with just loads of that stuff. Like just
Wow.
it was nuts. Like evidently it's sold enough to pay mall rent.
During the Fast and the Furious times, those
Yes.
places were oh my god! Because I remember going to the street races and shit right before that movie came out, and there would be like 300 or 400 cars, and there would be like a small handful of V8 guys that would come, and you could just see it on all the import guys' faces, like, oh fuck, here we go. And I remember this long bed C10 with a 383 stroker would come and just mop the world, just come in to just smoke everybody. The only other time that got crazy was when this brand new Ford Lightning came in and he just blew everybody's doors off too. It was really funny. But after the Fast and Furious came out, you know, these 100, 200 car meets blew up into hundreds and hundreds of cars to the point where there'd be helicopters from the police. It was pretty fun because I never got to witness the actual golden era of muscle cars and that street racing scene. I got to witness this other one, and I got to watch it shift with the release of that fucking movie. And everybody thought that they were fucking Paul Walker and Vin Diesel, dude. It was hilarious.
So we just had a Cars and Coffee here, and it is the largest one recorded for our area.
Wow.
700.
Wow.
700 cars showed up.
It's awesome.
That's crazy.
Now instead of 400 cars street racing, they do donuts and intersections.
I know that's the sad. You know,
It's so stupid.
I can't
What
stand
I-
the takeover crowd.
What drives me what drives me the most bonkers about the whole thing is not that those guys are doing donuts and intersections, that they're doing a block of traffic, being dicks and stuff. Is that the media calls them street racers?
Yes. How ridiculous is that shit?
I'm like personally offended by this. I'm like, how dare you? Do you not know our craft? What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, they are racing to the ER after they run one of their friends over.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
No, it's
wasn't even racing though. The guy just gets bonked by the back of the car swinging around. It's like, what happened? I got hit by a car doing, swinging. Like, oh God.
I live to see those videos.
I love them.
Oh, those are it's fun to watch. I mean, I get the spectacle behind it. I totally understand why the kids are doing it because they have nothing else to do. This is their only chance, everything else is they couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
I get it, but you call them street racers just drives me like show me the raciness as they're doing this donuts in the intersection and people standing in the middle. Because I don't see who's the winner here. Where's the race?
Well,
You know
they're
because
you
you're
know
a
they're-
boomer.
they're doing like their little hype video at home, and they're like, "This dent right here is where I hit Ray Ray. This one right here is where I hit Steve."
Here's what the saving grace about those things are, especially with the media calling them street racing. The real street racers that are on the other side of fucking town street racing are like, yes, keep focusing on their bullshit and we'll go
Yeah.
racing. I remember going back to the Fast and Furious days, there was a period of time where once it had blown up so big, then it was like you get special invites and shit like, hey, Wednesday night, we're coming out here at 4 a.m. Like I went to a couple of them and it was badass because then you got guys bringing trailers and shit and you're like, oh shit, this is real shit. That's like in the early days of street turbo cars because like you'd see like the Turbo magazine and shit, they'd have 11-second Hondas and shit. You never saw that on the street, but then these guys started turbocharging their fucking cars and bringing them to these races, and some of them were putting out some big fucking power for little
You
four
remember-
cylinders.
You remember those days where 11 seconds was fast?
I remember seeing the cover of Turbo magazine, 11 seconds, fucking front wheel drive.
On the street cars, though, I mean,
And like high 11s, not even low 11s, like 1198.
I remember as a kid, like
Whatever, 11, whatever.
a 10-second strip car. You know, when I was in my teens, that was fast.
Fast as fuck.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, you walk off the showroom
Well,
full with that now.
let's be real. 10-second quarter mile is still fast.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're that's still ridiculously fast. I mean, it's not, you know, $100,000 plus fast or whatever, you know, but that 10-second quarter mile is still damn fast.
Yeah,
That's,
I respect it.
I mean, let's be honest. Even though there is turmoil in our hobby right now, we are living in the most performance-dominated time in our hobby, like ever. I mean, you got guys cranking out 10-second, 11-second engines from their garage off parts they ordered from online. You know what I mean? It's not like they're
You guys got guys building eBay turbo kits that are putting out 600 fucking horsepower. You know what
right?
Right.
So I mean,
Again, you look at Dodge, like Tommy's car. I mean, the 1320 car. I mean, out of the box, if you know how to drive it and know how to set it up, it'll do what 11s. It'll do mid 11s.
Yeah.
Out of the box.
We went 11.3 on factory tires.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I mean,
that's so crazy.
naturally aspirated.
yeah.
Like, holy crap! I mean, that's really. I mean, that's an impressive achievement for. And I said before, I like this. We're living in, the golden age of muscle cars is over. Like that was, we're living in the golden age of horsepower, and it's great to be a part of it. I'll have to say it's sad to see this era ending and the new one beginning, but I'm glad I was here for it. I'm glad I got to be a part of it. And
Even boring stuff.
hopefully, when I'm old and senile, I'll remember it. So
Yeah.
Boring stuff is getting fast, you guys. I mean,
it's very true.
He runs like 1340s. You know? Like, I remember in the 90s, like pulling off a 13-second pass, and they're like, "Holy crap, that was awesome!" Like we did it. You started in the 16, 18s with the old clunky, small block. And all of a sudden, you pull off a 13, you're glorious. Then you hit 11s or 12s, and you're really losing your mind. And now a Camry runs 13s. Well, look, what's the SRT10 Viper trucks? What did they run? 14s, low 14s, I think. And it was the fastest production truck on earth, or however they marketed it. Cool truck, love them, but fast is just different then versus now.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Like I said, we live in a wild time.
Yep.
And you got guys that just won't adapt to the new shit, like Jonny Mopar, that are just fucking against the grain, hard. Like Dodge probably hates me, but talk to fucking Jonny Mopar, Dodge. Okay.
Yeah. Not going to convince me to buy an electric car or a Hellcat, mainly because I don't have the money for it. But
let me ask you this, Johnny. If you had the money to buy a Hellcat and you had all your classic shit is taken care of,
I would buy an A12 car instead.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, if you had Hellcat money, how would you not buy an A12?
True. That's absolutely true. It's absolutely true.
I would never get there because there's like 100 Mopars, old school, that I would love to own before I got to the point where it's like, okay, I'm ready to buy a Hellcat.
See, I'm kind of retarded, and what I would do is I would buy the Hellcat and be driving home thinking I'm cool. What? Retail? Oh, sorry. I'd be driving home in this Hellcat, and I'd go, fuck, how much did I just pay for this thing? I could have bought it. Holy shit, I could have bought an A12. I could have bought a...
Yeah, you say that, but you'd be like, Hellcat, go,
probably.
He's on the side of the road trying to fix his car because it's not running right. And it's, fuck,
with the A12,
I could have been driving an AC with cruise control. And
yeah, he's trying to adjust the following linkages between the three.
I fought going away from carbs on the Harleys for years. And I bought my first injected Harley in 2017. I won't go back.
Yeah.
I got a carved Harley sitting out there. It doesn't get touched.
Yeah. Oh, they're finicky. It's finicky
Pain in
stuff.
the ass.
One
Yeah.
thing I'll give Johnny is he'll never run out of his heated seat subscription in an A12.
No,
It's true.
No, he won't.
That is
True.
true.
I don't
Look,
have to worry about, you know, software updates or app updates on my cars.
Look, I'm still not over the time I was sitting there minding my own business and Johnny started talking shit on A-bodies.
You know
Only
what
'cause
really
I love you, Matt.
You know what really scares me about these electric cars is I don't know how secure they are. You know, being a conspiracy theorist, I'm like, fuck, what would it take to hack one of those fucking things? You know, are people hacking Teslas or what?
Oh, they listen to you.
Yeah,
everywhere
well, right
all over
now
the
they're
internet.
hacking them they're hacking them by popping the fuel doors open. There's
Oh,
some
really?
vulnerability right now where you can go up and you can go to the app and make all the fuel doors of all the charging doors open on all Teslas.
Okay.
Well, I mean, here's another
Yeah,
thing.
I
to keep
think,
in
you know, I
mind.
mean, I've heard it before, like if you were, say, a political decadent and, you know, the government wanted you to kind of have an accident, they could just tap into your electric car and you accidentally hit the wall. And they just say they had a little malfunction, you know.
What
I can
if
see that day
Dodge
coming.
What
Huh?
if Dodge reached out to me and they're like, "Hey, we heard you talking shit about the Banshee. We want you to drive it." Can it office and he's like, it just hits the wrong button and I go right into a pole and I get taken care of that. Oh, catastrophic failure. Sorry, Talking
Well, maybe
Mopars.
Preston will be in the car with you then, right?
Yeah. Oh man, God.
I didn't say that out loud, did I? I'm sorry.
So-
Careful.
So something to keep in mind here with the electric cars is everybody knows Tesla has their superchargers that like it's fast charging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you do something that upsets Tesla with you, they can lock you out of that charger.
Yep.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like
Oh,
if
yeah.
if you upset Tesla, they can literally make it to where their supercharger will not charge your car. If it recognizes your car, like because your car communicates with it and it tells it the VIN and stuff like that. So if your VIN is flagged and you plug your car in, you're not getting charged. You have to go to a regular charger and sit there for like 8 hours.
So if you've done modifications to your Tesla, if you've built if you buy a rebuilt like a salvage title Tesla, they will not allow you to use the supercharge network. Check if you want to dive into it, check out Rich Rebuilds on YouTube.
That guy's smart. Holy shit,
Yeah.
is he smart?
Yeah, he's a sarcastic asshole, which immediately I love him. So, yeah, but he's gone through those trials and tribulations with Tesla and how vindictive they are with how their system works. It's kind of scary what they can do on that side, and there is some fear from that on that side of who has the button that says, "I'm sorry, Chris, you've driven enough miles today. We're shutting you down."
Yeah.
That's another concern. That's why I'm scared with this push towards EV, because then they have control.
Well, I mean, you already have these states telling you don't plug in your cars while running your air conditioning at home. The grid can't handle it.
Yeah. Another great reason why the combustion engines need to hang on for a little bit longer. Our grid can't handle us all going electric.
So
No.
my
Holy
state's
crap.
my state is working on legislation for mileage and usage tax of EVs. So they want to really consider reporting of mileage driven so they can tax you based on how much you've driven. So, I mean, that's direct access to where you go, how many miles you put on your vehicle. That's a lot of information they really don't need.
Without sounding crazy political,
Too late.
well, I mean, so you got to look at it, like, if you really look at the trend in laws and stuff that are coming out, they are taking aim at just about anything recreational. Like, they're making anything recreational harder to do and more expensive to do. So, really, we're a tax farm. The less time we're at work, the less time they're getting taxes.
100%. Well, it's funny because like what we were just talking about, you got all these people shouting, global warming and all that. So they drive all these electric cars, and what they don't, and they hate guys like us. And what they don't realize is that the government doesn't like any of us, and they're going to tax you too. It's only a matter of time. So it's like nobody's safe. You know, if you're a peon like us, nobody's safe.
No.
They just know who's going to conform quick and who's going to put up a fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I say to Blake's point though about charging on usage for your mileage on electric cars, the states are going to have to do something, because like in Minnesota, I know they charge, you know, the state tax on gasoline is your usage tax, right? In Minnesota, that goes strictly for road construction and repair. That's all it goes for. If we move all these electric cars, all of a sudden that fund for road repair goes away. So they're going to have to find a way to fill that gap. I also would not want them to be tracking every single everywhere I go, but there's got to be some kind of happy medium of be able to, you know, pay for how much you're using the road, basically.
Well, I mean, at the same time, we walk around with a tiny computer that tracks everything we do.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they already know where you're at all the time.
Yeah.
So
but
my concern.
Yeah, Google does. The state doesn't.
my concern is the layover between
bet?
the two, right? So you get into a pinch situation, okay? If a law passes that says, hey, we need a mileage usage tax, right? So if you still have a gas vehicle and you're paying the fuel tax at the pump that's supposed to go towards roadway, but then you're also reporting mileage and having to pay tax on the mileage, you're almost getting double taxed.
Well, I mean, we are like triple tax on everything. We pay taxes on our wages, and we pay taxes on everything else when we buy it. Then we pay taxes on our property we already own every year. So I mean, we're like way overtaxed.
But as
I'm talking specifically on roadway tax. So it's almost as if you're penalized for still having a gas vehicle because you get taxed for mileage and for the fuel cost.
Yeah. But as Mopar fans, we understand that we pay a tax just to have the Mopar. It's called the Mopar tax, right? Everything's more expensive than the Mopar. So we're used to this.
Shit, they almost got me when I got the title for my Roadrunner. Even trade, literally even, no money exchanged. I go in there, and they're trying to put the value of my 78 D150 against the book value of a 72 Roadrunner. And I was like, oh, shit. And had I not put up a fight, they would have taxed me on they would have basically taken $1,000 from me. But I was like, no, we're not doing this, because they used NADA. And I think I told this story on my podcast that I go in there and the guy is looking at it. And this is a Mopar friendly place. Like, they got pictures of fucking Mopars on the wall. I think the owner owns a wing car and shit. And he's looking and he's like, just 78 D150 for a 72 Roadrunner. And I was like, fuck, here we go. And he goes, and he asked me about the trade and shit. I was like, it was even, no cash exchanged. I already knew where this conversation was heading. And he's like, we still have to run the book value because we send this in and the state's going to go, whoa, what? They want to get their money somehow. And the funny thing is when they pulled it up on NADA, my truck was worth like, we'll say $1,100. It was fucking ridiculous. And the Roadrunner in NADA at the lowest value that they could value it at was at $11,300. So in my head, I'm like, fuck, I'm not going to win this shit. And then I go, hold on, $1,100 for my truck? I was like, that's bullshit, because I have it insured for $25,000. And he goes, through who? And I said, Haggerty. I was like, let me pull up the Haggerty value. And he goes, Haggerty's not much different. And I said, hold on. I pulled up my phone and just Googling 1978 Dodge D150 value, Haggerty popped up, and it'll show you the highest recently sold price or whatever. And it was like, I forget if it was 53,000 or 35,000. It was a very high number. And I said, look at this shit. You're telling me it's worth $1,100. So they're like, well, we can pull up Haggerty. And I was like, all right, perfect. And then I was like, oh shit, they're going to pull up Haggerty for the Roadrunner too. And I said, hold on. I was like, can we leave? I like this number over here for the Roadrunner. Can we use Haggerty for the truck to kind of even it out? Because at the end of the day, the guy at the office doesn't give a shit. It's the state that's trying to get my money, right? So he goes, I think we can. He talked to the girl that was behind the desk with him, and she's like, yeah, you should be able to. And he pulls it up, and this is no bullshit. I actually have the 2 pieces of paper that prove this. He pulls it up on Haggerty, and he didn't put in any options. So it was actually a 78 D150 slant 6 truck, and it pulled up for the exact same number, $11,300. So where I was fighting them, because we valued these cars just to throw a number out there in case they did try to screw us on taxes. I said, look, I would fight back, but I would pay, probably around a G to fucking take care of this and just get my title. And so we put the agreed upon value for both vehicles at $8,000, which was ridiculous. But yeah, they pulled up exactly the same at $11,300. I was like, holy shit. And I looked and I saw slant 6 and I was like, nope, send it. And I paid $0 for taxes. But that just goes to show you, if I had just bent over and said, yeah, here's $1,000, they would have taken my money and not given a shit. But when I got this title in the mail yesterday, I was so excited because I was worried that, some pencil pusher at the state was going to look a little bit deeper into it. Like when I went to get the Vermont loophole title for the dumpster fire Roadrunner I had, those fuckers got me for a couple $100, but that's a whole different story.
Hey, there's a comment here from Polly we should probably talk about the Durango. If you see that over there you go.
What about the lawsuits starting from the Hellcat Durango owners suing now with the announcement of the return of the Hellcat Durango for 23? It was supposed to be a 1-year only model for 21. I never thought that people would sue for that. Is that a thing?
Well, when the first Durango Hellcat was announced, it was only 500. It's gonna be 500 units.
Yeah.
And then sold, right? They sold them all out. And then Dodge went, we could do 1,000. It's like, oh, that just fucked the first 500 people there. Nice move there, Dodge.
Yeah.
I thought it was
good job
unlimited 1 year only. I thought it was always just like, hey, 1 year, unlimited, but we're only making them 1 year.
No, it originally was going to be a 500 unit run, and then they upped it to 1,000 unit run for 2021. And that was going to be it. That we can do 1,000 units of the Hellcat Durango. And I actually kind of thought the same thing with the announcement, like, oh, that's going to make some people salty.
Right.
Yeah, they did the same thing with the Viper when the Viper first came out, right? There was like, oh, they're only going to build it for a year or two, and then they kept making them. Right. So those guys, there was a whole shitload of guys that went in there to buy the Viper when it first came out, just because they thought it was going to be limited run and they were going to get rich.
Right.
But I don't think anybody's over it.
Don't tell the Demon owners that there's a car called the Super Stock.
Yeah,
but just keep that on the down low. Don't tell them.
The Super Stock still doesn't have the 840 computer until Blake's cars get released next month, and they make more than 840. The Demon guys are going to go apeshit.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. Yeah, I heard that they were going to do like
Polly's saying 3,000 now. 3,000 is the number Polly's saying. I thought I heard 1,000. But
okay,
so that kind of is like the Rolling Stones on their first farewell tour. Everybody bought the farewell tour shirts. They're on
years ago.
Yeah, they're on farewell tour number 37. So
we really mean it this time.
Who's the one that's doing like No More Tours Tour 2? Is that who the hell is that? The Black Sabbath guy. Who's that?
I know George Strait.
Ozzy?
I know George Strait.
Yeah, Ozzy.
Ozzy is?
Ozzy, he did his tour of No More Tours, and I think he did No More Tours 2.
Damn.
Gotta make that money, man.
That guy's been half dead for 30 years. I don't even know how he fucking does it. Man. That's I won't get into that. Never mind.
The drugs.
But the Durango thing, I think that's going to be interesting. I mean, obviously, I don't think the lawsuit's going to go anywhere because
no,
it's going to be people bitching and moaning about stuff that they're going to be like, okay, prove damages, and how do you prove damages? I mean, it's just I don't see how that's going to happen. But yeah,
Blake, how do you feel about Vice Grip Garage, who's a big influencer on YouTube, doing a Hemi swap? I know he didn't use your kit, but it is definitely good for press for the Hemi swap world. Good, right?
Yeah, I think it's great. It increases visibility. And I mean, I had a lot of history in the LS world. I think it's so vanilla and so overdone. And honestly, if you look at for power, the Hemi makes more power. It's better. Like I've done both. I've seen both, and I've been in both camps. I don't have any issue with it. I was hoping we could get the low buck up to Moparty and kind of do a little side by side, but been having some problems with Moparty, so not problems, but difficulties with Moparty. So I don't know where that's going to wind up.
Talk to Tommy offline.
Tommy does have some connections.
Yeah.
You got my contact.
Yeah, cool.
And swap kits. We need to talk swap kits, man.
Yeah.
Now, I hate to do a marketing plug because I do work for Car Tech Books, but we do finally have our Hemi swap book coming. It's coming soon. I can say that
JJ
much.
Hines, the GM G-Body guy.
I maybe, I don't know. I have to look.
You should.
I did tell editorial guys though. I'm like, if you guys don't have DIY Hemi in this book in the source guide, you're fired. We can't have a Hemi swap book and not have DIY Hemi mentioned in the book. If you guys do that, you've failed.
Correct. All right, Johnny. Johnny, you're up. Johnny, are early A bodies the same as other A bodies?
No, the early A bodies are smaller than the 66 and older A bodies are even smaller than 67 and later.
Yeah.
I would highly advise you do not do engine swaps on those. They're tight.
I'm gonna, for those of you listening, I don't know who wants to join in and give their opinions on any of the discussed topics tonight, but I will throw the link in the chat. And if you want to join us on screen, feel free to click the link, have a set of headphones, and let us know what's on your mind. Anybody can join, but I thought that might make things interesting. If you don't want to join, that's fine too. And you guys aren't held by a ball and chain. If you guys got to go or want to go, feel free to head on out. But
I'm going to take like a 2-second break, so I'll be right back.
All right, sounds good, man. So, I mean, overall, with the whole Dodge Speed Week shit, it could have been a lot worse, but it could have been better too. I really wish they would have showed us what was on that truck, man. I really wish they would have that would have softened the blow of a lot of other shit too, you know?
Well, I mean, think about when the Charger came out, right? As a 4-door, man, everybody shit a brick. Everybody hated it. They got so much hate from the old school faithful Mopar. And now it's like, it's not
the most popular car that they sell, probably.
Right. So it's like, I think once Dodge starts getting some notoriety with this EV car, if it really gets out there and it kicks ass, it kicks Tesla's ass and it's kicking everybody's ass, people are going to come around and they're not going to hate it so much. Shit, I remember when the Dodge trucks were coming out, like, is it 93 or so?
Oh, yeah. The second.
They showed the silhouette, and it kind of looked like a big rig. It's the first truck that looked like a big diesel truck, right? And everybody hated it. It's like, no, please don't make it. And then it came out, and then it was like, oh, it's actually kind of cool. And everybody had to have one. And then Ford started looking like Dodges, and Chevy started looking like Dodges, So I think people are going to come around to it.
I'd be a liar if I sat here and said I didn't want to drive a Banshee and see how fast it was. Okay, I want to drive one. I want to see what that experience is like. I would rather drive one of those before I drive a Tesla. And I've been holding out. I've had a couple chances to test drive them, and I'm like, no. I really want to drive this Banshee and see. Like, they can sell me on it if it's fast as shit, which it's going to be fast. Let's be real here. It's going to be fast. What is it? The experience for me is what I want. I want to know what that experience is.
You know what? My buddy that has a Tesla, he let me drive it, and it's not like driving a car. It's a totally different thing. I mean, it just felt weird. It felt like I was sitting on a couch and I'm looking at an entertainment center or something like that. It just didn't feel like you're driving a car. And we even put it in the self-driving mode. It was like I'm going down the street with my hands off the steering wheel, so that I think it sounds like Dodge is sort of like keeping the car driving experience in this car. So,
and that's cool.
I think it's a good move. I think it's a good move on their part. So
let me drive one. Dodge, let me drive one, and I will take back everything I said if it can put a smile on my face. I'll take back everything.
He's selling out. He said he wasn't going to sell out. He's fucking selling out.
Oh, I have a new advertising deal that I haven't mentioned yet, but pretty soon you may hear some questionable ads on this show. Just know that your boy's finally getting paid, so don't worry about it.
Nice.
So if you get an ad about a little blue pill that, talks about enhancing some performance and it's not related to cars, don't blame me.
I thought you were going with the typical podcaster doing the MeUndies or whatever that was.
I don't know what they're going to put on there. I'm
God.
part of
okay.
I got accepted into this like beta program, and I was like, this could be a fucking train wreck because they give you options of what ads you're willing to play on your thing, and one of them was like basically throw everything. I said I'm open to anything, guns, whatever. What do you got? What's the most offensive shit you got? You can play it on my show. I don't care.
Dodge bought all of his ad time, and they're gonna play Chief Donut Maker ads.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
For all this shit he talked on Chief Donut Maker.
Could you imagine? Oh my god! Could you imagine if he has a podcast and he's like advertising his podcast on my fucking show? Oh my god!
Just nice little intro. Hi, this is Preston, the Chief Donut Maker. You're watching Talking Mopars.
Oh my god!
I would fucking die. I would be like,
From the front seat of his Porsche.
yeah.
Yeah.
Has he said anything? I didn't even think about looking to see if he said anything about this EV muscle car. He's the ambassador, right?
I have not seen an ounce of him.
I saw the
You
one
got it
thing
because
where
you have to follow on his Chief Donut Maker account. You can't. He's not going through the Dodge shit. They got him on the Chief Donut Maker account.
it's
I'm not following it. I don't care. I'm just ignoring him. So he doesn't exist to me.
Now I'm curious.
I've only seen the one thing with Freiberger.
Is he falling in line? I'm about to find out.
Of course he is.
Let's find out.
He's not even making those posts.
He is the line.
He seemed to I don't know. He seemed like he vanished until he showed up at that roadkill. Was it Roadkill Nights or whatever?
Yeah.
But,
Well, he was.
There's our boy. There he is playing the game.
yeah.
He was at the Denver NHRA race, because that's the Mopar one that they sponsor. So he was out at that one. I know. I saw some crap from Dodge Motorsports Instagram posted that.
Supposedly,
Like, oh, there he is. He's still around. They haven't shoved him into the back corner yet, but
I can't help but be curious if somebody else that didn't have any type of controversy surrounding them, if they would still be minimally used like this. I thought it was going to be a bigger position. I thought we were going to see a lot more of them. I don't know if that's related to the outpouring of fucking hate or if that's just their plan all along. You give the guy $100,000 and a Hellcat and just let him disappear and post a couple times and show up at a couple of events.
It was $150,000, wasn't it?
$150,000. Fuck, man, I didn't know that that's what the job was. Shit, that's even better than they made it sound.
Right?
Shit.
So, Chris, word is he'll be at Mo Party. We could tag team him.
Oh shit!
Oh shit! I want to get a shirt.
God.
I'm gonna get a shirt made that says I don't even like donuts.
you can buy this. I'll make the link live again, and you can buy the shirts that I was making that had his picture saying the top 5 reasons why I hate Dodge, and it said Chief Donut Maker on it.
Oh man.
I'm
Yeah,
down.
Tommy, we'll have to go have a talk with him.
Look, I'm gonna go get some nachos while you're doing that. I don't want to be involved.
Yeah, not involved. I'll find something else to do, fellas. You guys can ride on it.
Blake and I both.
I've already burnt
nachos.
my bridges. Dodge hates me now, so I don't care anymore. Whatever.
Yeah, if you ask Dodge, they'd be like, "What? We never had a bridge with Talking Mopars. Fuck that guy." So there was never a bridge to burn in the first place. So
I was talking about my bridge. I burned my bridge with Dodge.
You definitely had a bridge, and you lit that bitch right on fire.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Speaking of Mo Party, we gotta do a cruise. We gotta get this going.
Yeah, we were talking about organizing something, possibly Friday night, because Saturday we got to leave on Sunday morning. So I don't know if Friday night would be.
I think Friday night would be probably the perfect night.
Yeah, we're trying to find a meetup spot, and we were thinking the Mellow Mushroom because they got that old cool Chrysler dealership. If we get a bunch of people, I'll have to create a flyer or something, but we want to get a bunch of people just to meet up and just hang out after the night's over and just kind of have a nightcap and hang out, cruise some cars and shit.
And the other night we'll be camping on site too. So
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Beers at the Hooch.
No.
There we go.
But
we won't be that far from us.
Last, how far are we away? We got an Airbnb. I don't know I don't even know where it's at. Which one was it, Blake?
Should have Airbnb the camper.
Like right at the entrance of the park. So
Yes.
Was it the cabin looking one? Or is
I'm
it
not
different?
saying. You have to wait and find out.
Oh shit, okay.
It was
Is
a
haunted?
cabin. How do you not pay attention when Blake tells you things?
Oh shit.
I swear to God, if you put a creepy doll in my room this year, I'm going to lose my shit.
I hope the place is haunted for the Talking Paranormal podcast. That'd be fun.
Dude, I did try to get a haunted farm out in the countryside. I tried to do that for you.
Yeah.
So, little backstory on the doll thing for folks that weren't there. We Blake, Chris, and I, and a couple buddies of ours got an Airbnb at Mopar last year, and we were looking for plates in the cabinets, and shoved in the back corner of one of the cabinets
In the kitchen
was a doll, just chilling, and I got weird about it.
No, it was creepy, dude. Like
Yeah.
it was like, you know, ones like kids like cut the hair half off and like scribbled markers all over their face and like a lazy eye. Like that's what it was.
So I got weird about it, and Blake and them were like, "Oh, we're gonna hide it in Matt's room." I was like, I overheard them, and I was like, "No, you're not."
This dude locked his door every night.
Sure did.
He locked his room up like Fort Knox.
Meanwhile,
How did you know it was locked, Blake?
We
They
tried.
tried.
We tried to put the doll in there.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you would have put that doll in my room, it would have went through the wall. Ain't none of us getting a security deposit back.
yeah, I was wondering what the hell you guys were talking about because you told me about it because I showed up at the show and met you guys at the place later on that evening, and you guys were talking about this doll. I was like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?" And you showed me that creepy fucking thing, and I was like, "That was just hanging out? Weird." I still think there was a hidden camera in it, and they were watching us.
Well, they were watching. They saw that floor get flooded when we ran the dishwasher.
Oh my god, dude, that's my fault. I don't know what happened. We walked back in, the whole fucking place is flooded, and I was like, "Oh Jesus." They might have shut the camera off though in the middle of the night when I was snoring so loud. The walls were reverberating. Everybody was like, "Hey, dude."
I didn't hear you.
Okay, good. All right. Well, nobody wants to join us in the chat. Now I feel hated. That's messed up.
It is 2.5 hours in, so I'm just saying.
It is 2.5 hours in. Okay, so let's get ready to shut this thing down. Any last thoughts, gentlemen?
I want to see the Hurricane really bad. Like I want to play with one of those cars really bad.
Me too. I want to hear what it sounds like.
I'm not even worried about that. I just want to play with it.
Okay.
My final thoughts is I would like to purchase a 2023 model if I can, but I've heard rumors, at least on the government side, like if you try to buy a fleet car, police car, the 2023 base prices are going up anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000.
Oh wow!
Shit.
Holy
Wait,
shit!
what?
The if you're work at a police department, you're ordering fleet vehicles for cop cars and whatnot. The 2023 models, the base price, same options, $8,000 to $12,000, depending on if you're looking at a Charger or a Ram or Durango. So I was really hoping to get a 2023, and I think that's kind of going to go out the window because I'm assuming the consumer market's going to follow the pricing on the for the fleet side. So
It doesn't surprise me.
Times.
They've been marking shit up for a long time. At least locally, to me, they mark everything up 9,
Well,
10,
I think
12 grand.
I think Dodge is removing the normal margin that there was in the cars.
Okay.
And just basically, taking that from the dealership. So you're going to see massive dealership markups in the 23 because Dodge has taken away the markup between invoice to MSRP. That's going to be my prediction is you're going to see massive markups because there's no more wiggle room in the dealership on their back end pricing. So yeah, good times.
I wish I would have had the foresight to get a Demon if you could have gotten one. I think there was 1 or 2 dealerships that sold them at list at MSRP.
Yep.
I wish I would have had the insight. It was like, hey, just buy it because now they're going for like $100,000 more than they were stickered at.
There was people buying them at Sticker, and then throwing them on eBay for 150 grand. I was like, holy shit.
Have you seen them now, Chris?
No, are they crazy now?
Oh, like averages 165 to 200.
Yeah.
Wow. What an amazing investment that would have been.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's what.
Well, that's funny to me because, you know, some of the dealership markups were, you know, the stickers 90 grand, 80, 90 grand. And then the dealership markup, we're selling those cars for 120. I'm like, oh, those guys are getting fucked. As soon as a couple of years, that's going to go way down. And now it's like, that looked like a sound investment.
Right?
Holy shit.
There are those like clickbaity commercials on YouTube, like those ads of those guys. I don't know if you guys have seen these, but they're like guys who own exotic cars, and they're like trying to teach you how to own these exotic cars like we do.
Yeah.
And that's the same principle. They buy the ones that they know are going to appreciate and value. They drive them for a little bit, sell them for more than they bought them for, and then it's like this revolving door of cash and leveling up. And you could have easily done that with a Demon. You know, if I was not in that game, but what an easy way to make 50, 60, 70 grand. Holy shit. Wow.
Interesting.
Shame. Final thoughts, Tommy.
Tired, man. It's interesting, you know. Like I said, I'm not opposed to it. I just don't like the forcing of it.
Yeah.
The EV that that they've shown us. I hope they stay true to what the concept is. It's got a good look. It's a good looking car. I like the wheels.
I'm actually with you on that, Tommy. They look so funky enough. I like them.
Yeah, they're weird, you know.
Yeah.
So, interested to see what the straight six does. You know, interested to see what the releases that are still coming. You know, will it be a Hemi and no L platform, or an L platform with no Hemi?
Yeah.
You know, so it's been cool to have grown up in an era where, you know, early on we didn't have these things.
Yeah,
and
right.
We looked at the muscle cars that our dads had, and then the second coming of the horsepower wars, and I mean, we got it even better than, you know.
Absolutely.
So we're having fun with it.
Definitely.
So, and then before I get out, Blake, I'm going to hit you. Let's talk some swaps. Let's make some plans for the guys that are coming to Mo Party.
Oh yeah.
And for anybody out there too, speed shops are still around. If you're on the East Coast, I can cover the whole East Coast. Give me a holler.
Yeah, plug your social medias and your shop and all that fun stuff. And Slicks of Hope. Plug all of it.
Yeah, so, you know, the charity is Slicks of Hope. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Manage American Muscle Performance out of Pompano Beach, Florida. We also have a new location in Charleston, West Virginia, for all your Mopar and GM needs. You know, from mild to wild, old school speed shop stuff.
Nice.
So we're out there doing it. Currently, you know, the shop even runs the Durango was a big topic here for a minute. Fastest Durango in the world.
Nice.
So the shop's owner, Scott's girlfriend, runs the fastest Durango in the world.
Hell yeah.
You know, so yeah, anybody needs you need anything, like I said, mild to wild, give us a holler, get you taken care of. You want to throw down on a good cause, you know, we're out here drag racing cars and raising money for pediatric cancer research.
Nice.
So
I'm definitely going to be picking up a shirt and some swag.
Yeah, I'll have some shirts out at you know, at Mo Party.
Oh yeah.
We'll be signing autographs.
Nice.
Might have some other goodies for you know, giveaways and raffles. Just trying to pull some stuff together. It's a busy venture. I mean, you know, with daily life and then still trying to pull all of that kind of stuff together. It's, you know,
for sure.
It gets hectic, but we're doing it. Like I said, we got some reveals. If everything rolls as planned, we might be seeing the car looking a little different.
Hell yeah.
Running a little faster. So, and then we're going to try to petition these goofballs to open the 1320 class. I'll run it NA. I'll leave the bottle out, but they make us run brackets. Or choose your own index. It's kind of. I guess it evens everybody out because a lot of the guys are stock. You know, they're hoping for that valuation like the Demons. I don't see it happening with the 1320s. It's just not that well known. Dodge put almost nothing out about it, you know, other than the original. You know, so you still get a lot of people that have no clue but they know what a Demon is. So I don't see these cars valuing much more than your average Scat Pack, you know, years down the road. Yeah, they make us run a pick your own index. It gets kind of, you know.
I think that's where you're wrong, Tommy. I think, you know, when you look in the 40, 50 year window range, I think the 1320 is going to be a lot more valuable than your standard Scat Pack. Maybe. I really do. I think it's going to be worth more money.
Maybe. I think that, you know.
Not yours, because yours we beat the shit and will be nothing left of it. But
I got history. I got history.
You've got the racing. You got the racing, you know, cred. So maybe
and that's kind of what I talked with some of the other guys about too. Was there's a few of us that are very hardcore drag racers with these cars. They're modified, you know. They're pro charged, they're cam, they're, you know, whatever. I think my thought is those cars may down the road with that history. You know, I've been very. I don't want to say meticulous, but I have the time slips. I have the important time slips. I have the magazine articles and stuff like that to kind of build that. I don't see us ever getting rid of the car.
Right.
But when I pass it down, you know, all that stuff's there. But I don't want to say I don't see them gaining value, but not to the degree that things like the Demon.
Oh yeah, that's a little bit on a different level for sure.
Bud wrote an article about it, and I totally agreed with him when it came out, and that was that he equated the 1320 to the modern day A12, and I think
I still stand by that.
So you talk about 100%. I think it's going to be the same thing with the A12s now, and 100%. I think it's going to be the same thing now with A12s and Hemi cars with 1320s and Hellcats. 100%. Those 1320s are badass. I would love to have one just because of the cool B on the side and the nice wheel.
From the tech side, on a 1320, Russ from Sound German spent an incredible amount of time just researching the torque converter function and the launch control of the 1320. I mean, Dodge really put some good heart into that car, man. There's some good tech there. You know, and that launch control specifically for that car is something that people love, and they're trying to replicate and copy and steal and put in their 5.7 RTs and all that stuff because it's an amazing feature.
And I see that, but like when you get down to it, actually racing it, a lot of the stuff they put in it, like the trans brake and stuff, it doesn't work worth a shit.
Really?
No,
it's awesome that you're saying that out loud. Because,
I'm not shy about it. It's as far as the suspension goes, and you know the drag suspension, drag mode, and that stuff. The car is amazing. It squats bone stock. That car squatted so hard I bent lower rear control arms.
Holy shit!
You know, I mean, I have. If you look at it, well. I've had to have some repairs done after a tire explosion, but prior to that, if you look, I actually had wrinkles in the roof.
Really?
She sits hard, man.
Damn, that's gangster, dude.
Wow. Now you know why he wants to buy a body in white.
Fucking A.
That's exactly no. But you know, so that portion of the package, spot on.
Okay.
You know, the torque converter having a bit higher stall, that suspension works flawless. Like there's been the only times I've not had traction, or, you know, wheel hop or anything at a track was because it was shitty prep or I had bald tires. Even on mediocre prep, that car has just hooked and booked every time.
Wow.
The trans brake, it's clumsy, it's funky. It's you pull this paddle, it let this paddle go, and then it times out. So if you're on it and your opponent doesn't stage fast enough, it times out. If you launch and pound the gas too fast, because you have to hold your RPMs with your pedal. If you let go and hit the gas too fast, it bogs out. It's just to use once in a while when you're at the track and you're not running anyone, you can make it work. In competition, I don't even bother. I foot brake that car and that's it.
So it's almost gimmicky.
Yeah, it's exactly when we in the 1320 only groups, you get guys come in and they're like, "How do I do my new trans brake?" And I'm like, "Don't even bother. It's a gimmick." It's badass on the street because I can make like 300 feet of black mark.
Yeah.
But no, I was not thrilled with it.
Dude, it's awesome that you're saying that because usually, people they get huff and fluff, and to get a real feedback like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I mean,
they stuffed a lot of great tech into that car, and there's definitely some pieces that just don't make sense. And and I would say that if you ask the Demon owners, I bet you a lot of them are not using the trans brake either. I think
my cousin owns a Demon. It's the exact same thing.
Right.
Same thing. Same thing with like launch control.
Yeah,
it pulls a bunch of timing, et cetera, et cetera. It slowed the car down.
Wow.
On
it's
top
great
of that,
for people that don't know how to drive.
Yeah. I found it to help someone on the street.
Yeah.
But it also times out. So again, if opponent doesn't stage quick enough, I want to say it's maybe 15 seconds, 10 seconds. It'll time out and the car will walk out. So, there were some big hits there and a couple of small misses. At the end of the day, for what I got, for the price I got it for, the car has been stellar.
Right.
I mean, they had a big flub with the Demon where they said, "Hey, you can do 965 or something."
Yep.
And almost nobody's done it, or one guy's done it, or something like that, in completely stock form. They said we could do 11.7. I went to Demon Skinnies was the only change I put on the car, which shaved a total of 16 pounds from the car, and I went 11.3. And my wife went 119.91 at 11.35.
Right. I think I think Dodge learned their lesson with the Demon because of that. Honestly, I think they were like, let's make this number realistic, because that was when that came out. The 11.6 was 11.6 that they were saying that 1320 could do 11.7. Yeah,
11.7.
And then there's immediately people were hitting that number.
Yeah, there's a ton of us. There's a ton of us that are in cars that were either. So my car's optioned with the leather seats, so it's on the heavier, but it's not a fully no sunroof or anything. So with running one leather seat, I'm just slightly heavier than the lightest option cars.
Right.
There's plenty of us that are doing that are hitting 11.4s, 11.5s, 11.6s.
Yeah.
In the Florida heat on all 420 inchers, I ran a fellow named Brooks from the Drag Times YouTube in his Model 3 Performance Tesla, which on paper had us beat. And we ended up averaging 3 runs better than he did. Great races, hell of a driver. And the car went 11.4s in the Florida heat.
Wow.
On all 4 stock drag radials. So, Dodge, they knocked it out with that setup. And I'm glad, that a lot of the guys that bought them early on are like, "Oh, I don't want them to make them another year," because they want that low number. But I'm glad there's some out there for us to pick up later on.
Yep.
And last I heard, they're going to do this year will be obviously the last year, but that it'll be another availability this year. So
I would love to have a 1320. Don't even know what the fuck I'd do with it except take it to the track and try to have some fun. Fucking wrinkle in the roof, dude. I'm still trying to get over that. That is some gangster shit.
A lot of them do it. I mean, it's thin, but it's got its little intricacies, the way it it sits up. Even the first time out with it, big event wise, when we set the records on one of the launches, Carly put like that much air under a tire.
Jeez.
It likes to bring that passenger side up because it's, got no seat over there. And so it's done. So actually, I don't know that I've ever gotten the wheels up. She's gotten some launches right after it was cammed. Cammed imported heads, headers, stock converter still on 17s, where she rolled right out of the light and, had little, but driver's side that time, actually putting air under the driver's side.
That's awesome.
So
how much does that thing weigh?
Stock, it was 4150.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I can say is it's lighter than that now. It's not the lightest though. One of the other guys we see at a lot of the street Hemi events, Chris, his handle is Scavenger 1320. He's completely gutted the car. I think he's got it down to like 36 and change. So
wow, holy crap!
I'm a little heavier. Yeah. I think we're right in the wheelhouse of like 3,800.
Okay. Now we know why Carly drives.
I'm heavy, man. So, it's a little weight out of these cars helps, and that's that's what we've done. We've 15-inch conversions, shaved a bunch of weight off, a lot of reciprocating mass.
Yeah.
I'm still running a stock seat in the driver's side, so we're going to go to a Kirky race seat, which will drop like 60 pounds or something like that.
That's crazy.
So, a little bit here, a little bit there. I'm happy with it, with where it's at weight wise. We're gonna turn it up a little bit, see what the how far the stock short block goes.
I'm curious now. Shit.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, well, I told John Prims when we meet up, I'm not afraid to turn it up to take the win. Be the fastest 1320 in the world if it costs me a short block.
Another one. It'd be so great if you guys could meet up sometime. Like, I'd love to see you guys both at Mo Party. That'd be great if you could make it out there.
I wish he could make it that far. I mean, he's all the way out
hell
west.
of a trip, though.
But I think something maybe Texas Motorsports or Motorplex, something Texas or even Kansas. Street Hemi Shootout does a Kansas event now. Might be a little easier on both of us.
We could promote the hell out of it for Muscle Cars at the Strip and do the fastest 1320. They did the fastest Hellcat last year, which didn't work out. Vegas, at Vegas Motor Speedway, which is a fucking amazing facility.
It's like a 3-day haul for me.
I was going to say, that's about close to halfway between you and John, right? That's about halfway.
It takes me 7 hours just to get out of Florida.
Shit, that's right here in Florida. Fuck. All right, guys.
Kansas is the way.
We need to make a fund so that Tommy can get out to Vegas and claim the title.
Come to SEMA.
1320. Yeah, we could. We'll have to talk about
hold on
it.
a second. This fella's asking, what does a 1320 weigh? I mean, they weigh in the wheelhouse of. Just depends on how they're optioned. Right around 4,000, 4,100 on up.
I was gonna say 42, 43. But
I would say
they're
average.
Big girls.
A lot of guys option them. There's a lot of guys getting sunroofs and the subwoofers. I got the leather interior, so I got all the seats, and I have the SRT spoiler. That's it.
And that's like 100 pounds on its own.
Yeah. So, I mean, they are heavy.
Yeah.
And taking a little weight out helps.
Yeah. Matt, what are your final thoughts on Dodge Speed Week and all the announcements and fun stuff?
I mean, it's going to be an interesting time for the next little bit.
Yeah.
I think Dodge. I don't know why they wouldn't have released what was on the car trailer at Speed Week. It seemed like the perfect opportunity, but their marketing department was like, they're interested to be piqued. So, I mean, like I said, I'm not writing off the electric Charger. I think it's a great design. It has a cool, sleek look to it. That's about all I got, really. Like I said, I just want to play with one of the Hurricane engines.
Yeah.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Jonny Mopar, final thoughts on Speed Week and all the latest shit.
Honestly, I haven't been following it that much, and
Yeah, sure.
it's not going to have any effect on me. It doesn't
Yeah.
change my life and my
Yeah.
direction. My, plans for buying a new vehicle anytime soon are not there. So
the electric muscle car did not hurt your feelings.
it did not. I'm okay with it. I'm good with it.
You like how it looks, everything.
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay.
Personally, I look at it as it's a different genre.
Sure.
It's its own thing. I don't feel like it's got muscle car styling to it, but
Yeah.
And hopefully it's not there to replace, the real gas engine muscle cars. As long as it's not doing that, I'm okay with an electric car, a Hellcat, and a truck, or whatever.
Sure.
All these different kinds of vehicles out there. I'm cool with it.
Okay. All right. Well, you all know where you can find Tommy Marauder and Slicks of Hope. Dr. Bud, where can they find you? I'm pretty sure most people know where to find you. Scat Pack on Instagram at Scat Pack Club. The Battery Club.
Battery Pack Club. That one too. Either one. I just had to start trolling people on that because people are getting so fucking bent out of shape on that car. It was like, I'm gonna have fun with this. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna roll.
Why
with
not?
It.
Fuck it.
I still have people today even commenting. I really hope you're not changing your account just to do electric cars stuff. I'm like, what? Where are all these electric cars? I'm gonna post. There's nothing here. But yeah, it was good times. If you don't know by now, I am definitely the sarcastic asshole on Instagram. So you can always find me there. And, yeah,
I'm surprised people haven't got that by now.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah. Also, Car Tech Books.
Oh yes,
Car Tech Books, man. Broaden your knowledge base. There's a lot of cool shit that they got over there, man. Look at that. Look at that. I have a very small collection. Nothing like Bud's. His is amazing, but they got some great books. So definitely head on over to cartechbooks.com and pick yourself up a fun book. Matt, where can they find you, dude?
Anywhere. Big Block's Garage. All one word.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, Matt and I co-host a show on Saturday nights together called Talking Paranormal, where we get crazy and talk some loony shit. Okay, so if you like loony shit, ghosts, Bigfoot, conspiracy theories,
Yo, what about the dog man?
The dog man,
We did
werewolves,
Yeah.
dragons. If you want to get hammered and listen to two whack jobs talk about some crazy shit, that is the show for you. It's a good time, and a judgment-free zone.
I laughed my ass off the whole time.
We also had an episode about Hollow Earth, so just keep that in mind. Oh shit! But yeah, that's where you can find us on Saturday nights. And Jonny Mopar, he's famous on YouTube. You can find him at Jonny Mopar.
Yeah. Find me on YouTube.
Yep. If you're not subscribed to Jonny Mopar, what the hell are you doing with your life?
Right.
And of course, I am your host, Chris Albrecht, and that was Talking Mopars Live. We'll see you next time. No Mopar Left Behind. And you can catch some of us at Holly's Mo Party, the 16th, 17th, and 18th at Bowling Green, Kentucky at Beach Bend Raceway Park. It's an awesome event. I had so much fun at Holly's Mo Party, even when I was depressed that I couldn't go live. This year it's going to be different.
You were a mess.
Yeah, I was pissed.
I was worried about you.
Yeah, I want to see this 1320. I want to see Carly lay some numbers down. So, a lot of fun. And then, yeah, I think Jonny, you're going to Duct Tape, right? You're gonna be at Duct Tape.
Yes, sir. Be at Duct Tape.
You wouldn't catch me dead in that desert. How hot is it? How hot is it in Arizona that time of year?
I mean, last year it wasn't bad.
Okay.
It wasn't too bad. It was warm though. It was in the 80s, I want to say, mid to high 80s,
but it's a
maybe
dry
low 90s.
heat.
It is a dry heat, yeah. Yeah, but it's gonna be a blast. We're gonna have some fun there.
Should I go, Jonny? Should I go? I don't know.
Well, only if you want to piss everybody off for not going to No Name Nationals, right?
I already said I wasn't going to No Name Nationals. There was a problem, and that was the fact that I couldn't get a plane ticket in time to come back to
Oh.
make it to work.
Okay.
Yeah,
you should
I
go
can't
then.
get Monday off.
Sounds
don't
like
know. I don't know.
excuses to me. But
It is excuses.
Hey, if you think you can make it to duct tape, I guarantee you it's going to be a blast. It's completely different than anything I've ever been to. So it's like being part of roadkill, I guess.
Oh
It's
man,
all
I don't
around
want to. I don't want to be part of Freeburger Show, dude.
You don't have to be.
I'm just kidding. You
You gotta
probably
lick his flip flops if you want to be on the inner crew.
the odds of seeing me at duct tape are so slim. But that would be funny. If I did, you wouldn't know about it, Johnny. I'd sneak up behind you and be like, "Hey, man, you go to the YouTube channel. Cool. Let me get your autograph." Or I'd say something even more asshole like, "Hey, I know you from Talking Mopars, the best Mopar enthusiast-driven podcast on planet Earth. You're the General Mayhem guy." But yeah, that's the show, folks. These are my friends. You know where to find them, and you know where to find us every once in a while when we all join up here on Talking Mopars at a round table. But that's it. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next time. Adios.
Bye.